What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I am your host today on this Friday, November 3rd, 2023, year of our Lord, and I welcome you. I invite you, and I absolutely am thankful that you are here at the Millionaire Morning Show. I am very, very much grateful for you to be here. Absolutely. Every single time that we have an opportunity in order to cook up on a Millionaire Morning Show, every single day that we wake up and we are in our right mind, if you woke up this morning, you got another opportunity to do great things. Somebody said, I love that. This is Porsche, baby. I drive a Porsche. I don't drive a Ferrari. Ferrari got too many restrictions on how they want to treat their customers. But if you woke up today and you are in your right mind, you have another opportunity to do great things. And so do not let your past define your future. Learn from it, observe it, forgive, don't forget, and then make the best adjustment possible to get to the results. Y'all ready to get to this Money Friday? You know what we do on a Friday. What we do on a Friday. We have good conversations. I dropped the link in the chat for y'all to be able to pull up. We made some changes to the platform this week. I gave y'all quick hits. We got more changes coming next week. And we're going to be making a lot of changes before the end of the year. But before I get to that, let me give a couple of, yes, I do prefer Porsche over Maserati. Maserati, I'm straight. Let me get to a couple super chats and cash apps to acknowledge the people, because I like to acknowledge the people and read it throughout the show. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my guy, Mike That Dude. Flat out. Mike That Dude is probably one of, not the only, because I know the bag chasers is in here strong. Mike That Dude. Y'all bringing Anton to the front of the congregation today? Well, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you to do so if you disagree with me. I'm with that. Look. Mike That Dude has been holding me down all day long. Shout out to Mike That Dude on Cash App. I appreciate you. Also, on top of that, I want to give an early acknowledgement to my first super chatter of the day. Says top of the top AD, what we cooking up today? Oh, you know what we cooking up today. I'm making the people mad today. You know why? because I'm bringing Chicago to the front of the congregation. Man, listen, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. Big M Dub, I'm going to be honest with you, big dog. I have a whole list of cities that I want to bring to the front of the congregation, and mayors and city council people and governors. But I can't do it because it's almost like Brandon Johnson is just egging me on, and he's egging me on. And he wants me to have a conversation about it. You know why? Because I look at my algorithm this morning. I didn't even get to all of the stuff that I wanted to talk about Chicago, as far as the stuff that the people sent me. In addition to what it is that I seen that it was a campaign manager or somebody that was a part of his campaign that is being charged with fraud over on the Brandon Johnson front. I ain't even bringing that to the front of the congregation. We gonna save that for Monday because I ain't even got enough time. I want to drop the link in the chat for y'all to disagree with me, right? I heard that Brandon Johnson was begging over there, begging for all of our tax dollars. We gonna get there. We got Brandon Johnson. We got a lot of quick hits. Your Republicans decided that they wanted to pass legislature and bills targeted towards sending $14.5 billion of your tax dollars over there for the military and Israel war. Oh my God. We got a lot to talk about today. You said Eric Adams and his people getting raided by the FBI. Send them on over. Man, I got a whole list of cities. But I'm just telling you, Chicago, I don't know what's up with y'all. I don't know what's up with the city of Chicago, but we going to get there. Thank you, Big M Dub. Big M Dub is in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you. I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. What do y'all say? We get the housekeeping out of the way and we see what's happening out here in these streets? Make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Sponsoring the show and also sponsoring Quick Hits today. If you guys want to sponsor any portion of the show, send me an email. If you want to do business, send me an email. I only do business on email. I don't do business on DMs, TikToks, fake accounts, all of that stuff is not me if they asking you to do business in the DMs. Flat out. I only got one account for all platforms, and it's all in the description. If you want to follow me on Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, shout out to my people out there on Facebook. I appreciate you. All right? All right? We're going to get there. Also on top of that, Teach Hanley, because you got to get that for your man. Make sure, ladies, you get that. Patreon members, we got a meetup tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be in D.C., and I will be kicking it with my people, my friends, and my family, and we are going to have a great time. I'm going to be there. I think that Q might already be there. I don't know. We're going to see what's happening, but we're going to be in D.C. Location is only for Patreon members only. You are more than welcome to bring a plus one, so feel free to do so. I love to meet the people. I love to kick it with the people. And then we got the Patreon Pitch Your Business at the end of the month, which I will be dropping the details for that after the Patreon meetup. And you guys will be able to pitch your businesses to me, and I will be giving you $1,000 and $2,000 blessings. Let's just say that, blessings a piece up to about $20,000 to $25,000 in order to get your business funded and started with no equity from me. As just my gift and saying thank you for utilizing the information that I give you in order to ensure that you guys are successful. All right. So if you are not a Patreon member, if you are not a bag chaser, then make sure that you go and tap that link in the description as well as pin to the top of the chat. Also, again, I will be dropping a link in the chat for you guys to be able to call in or cam up. It's up to you, whatever it is that you want to do. I think I'm going to just do call-ins, but we're going to see what happens. Call in or cam up if you have a disagreement with me on anything that I've discussed, or you just don't like me. You're more than welcome to say that to my face. I'm cool with it. I have no problem with holding myself accountable because I am open to the possibility that I'm wrong. And again, we're going to be reading super chats throughout the show. So if you have not shared the show, if you're not subscribed, if you're not hitting the like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you do so now because we're about to get it rocking, all right? Let me get a mental health check in the chat. How y'all feeling about Friday? Was it a tough week? Good week? One word. How's your week been this week? How's your week been? Let me get a mental health check in the chat to see what's happening. Life with Drabo. Let me get that up on the screen and see what you got popping, big dog. Life with Drabo is in the building. Okay. Drabo says, what up, though? I see my Detroit brethren is in the building. Seen about 40 immigrants at Burlington Factory. Burlington Coat Factory? What? Them folks cleared the shelves. I guess they done unloaded some buses in Southwest Georgia. Okay. Shout out to immigrants out here tearing it up, getting that bag, taking care of business. Let me see what y'all talking about. Blessed and highly favored, awesome, stupendous, as always. I see you. Blessed, smooth, productive, productful, cool, chill, great, tested, gym life, overwhelmed, fasting, fantastic, good, long. Shout out to Shawnee. Been all right. All right, I see you. Amazing, productive, fruitful. Yikes. Great, productive. Y'all been being productive? Okay. Improvement. Tiger's blood. Oh, dang. Great week, AD. Trying. I got your back, Prince Elian. Breakthrough. Pretty good, except caught a cold. Oh, prayers up for you. Good. Monotonous. Pretty good. Okay, I see what y'all talking about. All right, so everybody, it seems like they're in a good space. Shout out to my dog Kojak. Shout out to Ray Sean. Y'all said grinding, progress, impacted, hungry, bad week. Well, guess what, Spaces? Guess what? It don't get no better. It don't get no worse from there. It just goes up from there. Good. All right. Persevering. Endure. Endurance. The race is not given to the swift, but he who endureth to the end. Blessed. Disciplined. Tired, boss. That mean you've been working. All right. We with it. All right. Excited. Optimistic. Very productive. Black Beauty says she been great. Nikki says she low key. Low key. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty in the building. I appreciate you. Miss Crow T. Shetty said, I got this. I'm going to drop this in the collection plate. Let me tell y'all something. You closing on the property today, Cooley? I see you, big dog. Let me tell y'all something. I appreciate everybody that comes through and support the platform because you do not go unnoticed and you are not unappreciated, all right? Thank you, Miss Crow T. Shetty. Thank you to everybody that hold me down. Even the Jeweled Alchemy Soap Company is holding me down. You know what they said to Anton from AntonDaniels.com? They said, happy Friday, Anton and Miss Rita. Salute to the bag chasers. Enjoy the meetup and have a great weekend. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. What y'all say? Y'all think we should get into the show so we can go ahead and get to it? I think we should get to the show. I got a good show lined up for y'all. And again, I dropped the link in the chat for you guys to be able to cam up and say whatever it is that you want to say for me towards the end of the show. So I'm going to try to get through these subjects relatively quickly so that we can get to it. You know, Anton got the hoodie on today, so I'm ready for the smoke. I'm ready. Who y'all know? What other YouTuber? What other Facebooker? What other person? Oh, Jeweled Alchemy. We received your package. Rita told me to tell y'all we received your package. Hey, that is a beautiful package. Jeweled Alchemy sent me a package that I wanted to show on the live stream, but then in the package, they said don't show it on the live stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to promote y'all as my chasers if I can't promote y'all as my chasers. Usually I got on all black, but I got on a Porsche hoodie today. We're going to get to it. All right, so listen. Let's get to the show. I want to break it down for y'all. I want to get through these subjects so that I can give y'all an opportunity to be able to cam up, because I will say that y'all opportunity to be able to cam up on other platforms is going to probably go away. I give y'all that insight towards the end of the show. Let's get started. All right, so first segment of the show. Yeah, first segment of the show is here. It is Quick Hits, ladies and gentlemen. And so on Quick Hits, this is an opportunity for me to break this down in 10 minutes or less, 3 minutes per subject, in order to help y'all to understand exactly what's happening out here in these streets. Really quickly, something that I don't want to go deep diving into, but I absolutely want to make sure that we having this conversation. So first things first, Jeff Bezos, ladies and gentlemen. So Jeff Bezos is moving away from Seattle and down into Florida. All right, hold on. Rita says she want to call in during Quick Hits. What's up, Rita?
Hey, can you mute me, please?
Rita's correcting me on the people that send me what? Okay, so somebody sent me some hoodies, and then other people sent me soaps. So Jeweled Alchemy is the people that sent me the soaps. We're going to be breaking that down. All right, I got y'all packaged. Don't worry about it. Anton need a little bit of insight on how I can go about taking care of business. I got you. Anton Daniels, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. But Jeff Bezos on this first quick hit said that he's leaving Florida, or he's moving to Florida. He's leaving Seattle and he's going over to Florida. Specifically, Jeff Bezos said this. They said, we moving to Miami. Everybody want to move to Miami. Jeff Bezos said that he moving to Miami. He said he got him a new chick. He said he upgraded. You know, I don't really know. Like, this chick look weird to me, man. I don't know. It's almost like they made her mouth like the Joker or something like that. I don't know. But Jeff Bezos said, you know what? I'm about to live my best life down in Florida. I'm going to Miami. And one of the excuses that he has is he said he's relocating to be closer to his parents and his operations of Blue Origin LLC, which is his space exploration company. He goes on to say, as the world's third richest or wealthiest man as of right now, the Bloomberg Index, he said he made the announcement via Instagram and included a video of him in a Seattle garage where he founded Amazon in 1994. Wow. Has Seattle become so trash that the people that live there and founded their companies there don't even want to live there anymore? Seattle used to be famous for grunge bands. Now they're famous for the Amazons and the Microsofts and stuff like that. And when they get rich, they leave. When they get rich, they leave. He also said that I've lived in Seattle longer than I've lived anywhere else and have so many amazing memories here. As exciting as the move is, it's an emotional decision for me. Seattle, you will always have a place in my heart. You just will not be getting my taxes. You will not be getting my money, and you will not be getting my taxes. What a lot of y'all don't even really understand is that one of the reasons why these people move to South Florida is not because of the same reason why regular people move there. It's also because they want to save on state taxes. They want to save on state taxes. He bought a 7-bedroom mansion recently in Indian Creek, a man-made barrier island in the larger Miami area known as Billionaire Bunker. He also owns homes in Washington, D.C., New York City, Los Angeles, and Maui. Y'all ain't know that, did y'all? Y'all ain't know that, did y'all? Maui fires. Oprah took all of the heat. The Rock took the rest of the residual heat. And then Jeff Bezos and them, and they were skating across the land without any kind of problems. As well as a 300,000-acre ranch in Texas, the base of the launch site for Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. Wow. A 300,000-acre ranch in Texas. Balling, killing the game. Just another reason and another opportunity so y'all can be able to get aggravated and feel some type of way about it and say y'all want to eat the rich, but y'all ain't got no access to it, so it don't even matter. Anyways, in addition to that, Sam Bankman. Now, a lot of people may not necessarily be familiar with Sam Bankman, but Sam Bankman was called the crypto king, but he's had a stunning downfall. Let me go ahead and play for you what's going on with Sam Bankman.
Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on all counts in his fraud trial. Just half an hour ago, the founder of the cryptocurrency investment company FTX was accused of misleading investors and scamming them. During his trial, Bankman-Fried took the risk of testifying and was confronted for some of his public comments. FTX's multi-billion-dollar collapse rocked the crypto industry and led for calls of reform. Bankman-Fried could face more than 100 years in prison.
100 years. 100 years. You know he gonna get every last one of them joints. He's 31 years old, and if sentenced, he will get a max. He won't spend the rest of his life in prison. His fall from grace began nearly a year ago when FTX filed for bankruptcy, fueling a panic in the cryptocurrency industry. He began his career as a trader at Jane Street Capital after studying math and physics at MIT. In 2017, he left Jane Street to strike out on his own, starting a cryptocurrency hedge fund he called Alameda Research. The firm's first office was a 2-bedroom Airbnb in North Berkeley, California. There were 3 of us, he said, but it had an attic, so it seemed like a 3rd bedroom to us. He testified this past week. His entrepreneurial drive didn't stop there. In 2019, he co-founded cryptocurrency exchange FTX and became its CEO. This corny-looking dude became its CEO. But he testified Friday that he basically knew nothing about crypto. He said he initially envisioned quickly selling FTX to cryptocurrency exchange Binance since he had no idea how he would get customers. Isn't that weird though? Isn't that wild that somebody that self-admitted graduated from MIT says that they knew nothing about crypto, but they were able to start a cryptocurrency company and get billions of dollars out of y'all? He graduated. Listen. Y'all keep giving me a hard time because I say that I want to be very, very careful. And the thing that I advise my bag chasers and you guys is to never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, I don't care if you got fear of missing out. I don't care what the stock market is saying. I don't care who tells you about cryptocurrency. I don't care who tells you about anything. Never under any circumstances invest in something that you do not understand. I don't care how much money people are saying that they're making. I don't care how many people tell you get in the truck industry. I don't care what's going on. If you don't know anything about it, and if you start to do your research and you still confused about it, and you start to get mentors and you start to do all of this other type of stuff, there is no get rich quick scheme that you can do in order to skip the steps that's needed to get to the spaces that you're supposed to be in. If this man that graduated from MIT did not know anything about cryptocurrency, but he jumped into the business, what makes you think that I'm the crazy one because I want to take my time, and if it take me a year or two to fully understand something before I advise you on what it is that you're supposed to do in it or share my experiences from it, what makes you think that that's a bad idea? Slow money. A lot of y'all keep saying that y'all know it, and then I get y'all up on these platforms and you don't know nothing about it. You don't know anything about blockchain technology. You don't really know anything about cryptocurrency. Y'all just jumping into it because somebody told you, when you heard from somebody that don't know something about it, and y'all just jump into it because of fear of missing out, called FOMO. If you do not understand it, and I don't care if he's lying or not, I don't understand something, I need to deep dive into it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm even getting into building houses, because before I can advise you on it, I need to be a part of it. And then once I do it, I'll share with you my experiences from it. You can glean from it what you want and then move accordingly. All right. So anyways, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So we're not even worried about that anyway. And then last but not least, Jonathan Majors. And this is quick hits. Jonathan Majors. Marvel has reportedly considered replacing Jonathan Majors' Kane character with Dr. Doom. Hold on. I need a whole nother sound drop for that. We're gonna do the bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Let me hit that one more time for the people in the back. This is the stuff that we don't agree with. Marvel has been on such a bad, let's not even say Marvel. Disney has been on such a bad tear, and they have no clue what they doing. They out here looking like some fools. Disney out here looking like who the fool and what done it. Two things from this. Number one, fellas, I keep telling you to protect your energy and don't even let certain people in your circle that don't deserve to be there. I don't care how good they mouth work. Because one accusation, even though this woman is not even being arrested, even though she's allegedly, supposedly, they even thinking about charging her with assault, then spurred a bunch of other Me Too movements, and now Jonathan Majors, who was just a year ago the hottest dude in Hollywood, Creed, Marvel, he was doing all of the skits, he was a great actor, he had all of this stuff going on. Now look at him. That's number one. Number two, I think that Marvel is quite possibly had the biggest bag and the biggest opportunity of all time, and they fumbling it absolutely. It says, according to a recent article from Variety, Marvel studio executives met in Palm Springs in September 2023 for the company's annual retreat. Nothing like spending shareholders' money in order to go on a retreat. I got you. Their executives discussed how to handle Kang the Conqueror, a character who was supposed to be in the MCU's next major adversary, but whose future is now in doubt given Major's ongoing legal situation and upcoming trial for domestic violence charges. Variety's article states that executives have discussed moving away from Majors and Kang in the next phase of the MCU and instead focusing on Doctor Doom, a notorious Fantastic Four villain. Absolutely, positively, the dumbest thing that they can possibly do. And as Marvel continue to torpedo the franchise with over $25 million developing She-Hulk, oh God. She-Hulk. So, that is your quick hits. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. We got a full show planned for you. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show for real, all right? Let's see. Torrance Daniels is in the building. Shout out to Torrance. He says, good morning, Chasers. Blessings, and be safe this weekend. Thank you, my friend, for taking care of us and making sure that you give into the platform. The Right Insight says, not the Democrats' #1 donor. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! Whoopi Rock is in the building. Shout out to my people overseas. Whoopi Rock says, thank you, Anton, for spitting facts from your sister in the Netherlands. I love your spirit. Shout out to Whoopi Rock. I appreciate you. Self-Made Forever said, Bag Chasers Friday, Money in the Pot Pastor. AD about to preach today. Don't miss the message, folks. And also, AD, what is your perspective on why women consider fun them barely wearing clothes outside, for example, Ashanti's outfit? Let me tell you something, bro. When you see people that are operating like that, they just looking for attention. They looking for attention. It's nothing more than attention seeking. When people are outside naked, they are looking for attention. That's it. They can tell you they just want to show off their body. They just like it. It's hot outside or whatever. It's not necessarily fun. The fun is the attention that they possibly get. And then the subsequent talk afterwards on social media that then allow for them to continue to stay in people's purview, right? If you see a woman that's always wanting to be naked and you can't tell her to put no clothes on, walk away. Walk away. Just walk on by. Walk away, Self-Made. Shout out to you for that. I appreciate you, my friend. Let's go ahead and get into the show. So before we get over to Chicago, and I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Before we get over to Chicago, let me bring my Republicans and my Democrats, specifically my Republicans, to the front of the congregation. Let me bring my Republicans to the front of the congregation. I don't like what's going on. I hate the fact that we have to be subjected to and have these people in office that do not have our best interests at heart. Yes, I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. I do not just stand on one side of the aisle and have a conversation based off of how I feel about one thing. I got to have it in its entirety. And what I see happening across the board is there are people that are not doing the things that's in the best interest of their voters, the constituents, and the United States of America itself. And they are selling America, and they're using your tax dollars in order to do so. They are selling your country, and they are using your tax dollars in order to do so. Let me share with you what was being pushed through, or what was trying to be pushed through over in your legislative branches over the last couple of days.
A new House bill passed yesterday to provide additional funding to Israel, but it is unlikely to advance because the bill, backed by new House Speaker Mike Johnson, has major strings attached, including a requirement to cut funding from the IRS. It also does not provide any additional money for Ukraine, which President Biden and others view as essential. For more.
So here's the first question that you got to ask yourself. And a lot of people don't understand why I have to stop it in the middle of what it is that they're talking about, but I have to stop it because we got to mine this out. We're not going to skip over any steps. They want to give $14.5 billion over the aid for your military to aid in the Israel problem that they got, the conflict over there. Now remember this, Anton, why is this so important? Because this is our money. This is our tax dollars. The problem and the reason why Biden opposes it is for two reasons. Democrats oppose it for two reasons. A, this bill does not also include more money for Ukraine. According to your local news reporters, this bill does not also include money for Ukraine, and this is why Biden decided that he wanted to torpedo it. I'm going to hit the applause button because I'm being sarcastic right now. Also, they don't like the fact that they're going to cut spending within the IRS in order to send more money over for this Israel war and conflict. Now, here's my question. First and foremost, how did we start to get involved, and why are we at the forefront of funding and sending aid in the form of your tax dollars in order to make sure that other countries is taken care of when we are in conflict every single day in our own country? I don't understand. Have you went and seen Baltimore lately? It looked just like The Wire. The only difference is the technology that they're using. They're not using phones at the phone booth right now. They're using burners. Have you been to Chicago? Seen what's happening over there? Don't worry, we're going to get to Mayor Johnson in a second. Have you seen what's happening over in Oakland, San Francisco, Little Haiti, Houston, Atlanta, Texas, Phoenix, Seattle, Los Angeles, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, DC? Literally, look, y'all, I'm telling you, if I had the time to get away from, or before I go to the Patreon meetup tomorrow in DC, I would actually try to document and show y'all what's happening out there. Let me tell you something, bro. Over in DC, just steps away from the White House, they got Tent City. Steps away from the White House itself, they got Tent City. There are tents. I kid you not. Lines of tents, steps away from where the president lays and rests his chinny chin chin. And within this bill, they're making sure that they advocate for more aid for Ukraine. And again, this is your money. More aid for Ukraine. Borders is just absolutely open. Making sure that they continue to put more money into funding so that they can have more IRS agents. And then also on top of that, they're trying to get $14.5 billion over to this conflict over in Israel.
Let's go to Weijia Zhang at the White House for us. Weijia, good morning.
Tony, good morning to you and good morning to everybody. The White House says this bill would set a dangerous precedent of attaching partisan priorities to emergency aid. Several Democrats pointed to the proposed slash of $14 billion in IRS funding as a poison pill. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that would increase the nation's deficit by $12.5 billion over the next 10 years because cutting IRS resources would result in bringing in less money during audits. House Speaker Mike.
So they're listen, think about what's happening. She basically just broke it down for you. She said that the reason that they don't want to cut it is because they're trying to allocate more money over into the federal government for IRS agents to then chase you down to make sure that you're paying your fair share. So they taking your money. They need to make sure that they shore up the money to try to find money. This is the way that the government invests. Think about it. Not in its citizens, but making sure that they get every dime up out of its citizens in order to ensure that they take the money and then fund it over for wars and conflicts that don't have nothing to do with the American people. Listen, when you break it down from a C student's perspective and you don't make it overly complicated and you're not, using all of these terms to make sure that you try to confuse people, let's just simplify it and tell it for what it is. Because remember, you guys are the ones that's going to be getting y'all pockets ran through. That's a fact. Everybody want to level up. You want to make an extra $250,000 a year. You finally became a bag chaser. Anton is trying to give you the sauce on how you can limit the amount of money that you have to pay over to the federal government. The government said, nah, we don't like what you're saying over there on the Millionaire Morning Show. We're going to tax you. So the government invests. This is the way that the government invests in order to make more money, to shore up their deficits. They're investing in the IRS to come and chase you down, to go and get more money so that they can send the money over into these social programs. Brandon Johnson is over there begging for more money for migrants, and they want to send money to Ukraine and Israel and all across the world in order to ensure that a lot of these other entities that we gonna deep dive into, that I'm very careful about using this platform in order to do so, but all of these other entities, including lobbyists and people that have their hand in these government pockets, continue to profit off of the things that's happening across the sea, over in other wars and stuff. We are ATMs. That's what we are. So when you pay your taxes and they don't actually represent your best interests, this is what happens. And this is why the voting process is so important. Is because if they're not representing where it is that you're, because think about this, y'all. Look, this is worse than union dues. Y'all complain about paying union dues, but you're paying union dues to the United States of America, and you don't even have a choice as to whether or not you can do so or not. No matter where you go, no matter where you work at, you are required to give money over to the federal government, and they going to get theirs first. When you look at your paycheck and it says federal, FICA, state, all of that, that's you paying your dues. This is the mob, and the mob is Rome. And Rome said you're going to have to pay your fair share or you going to jail. Look, if you work hard and you don't pay your taxes, you going to jail, family. Because they need that money in order to get that over into baby girl with the bonnet that's having extra kids that need that Section 8 to make sure that she pay her rent on time. And the more money you make, the more money they want, and they're going to villainize you for it, and they're going to put on shirts that say, eat the rich. And you're going to vote them in, and they're going to get more IRS agents for you, and then they're going to come for you. Yes, they are. Let's continue.
House Speaker Mike Johnson insists that this was not a political move, saying that it's the easiest and largest pile of money that's sitting there for us to be able to pay for this immediate obligation. But the bill is dead on arrival in the Senate. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the Senate would work on its own emergency aid package that includes what President Biden wants: funding for Israel, Ukraine, humanitarian assistance, and Indo-Pacific countries like Taiwan. Well, President Biden says he would veto.
Now, why are we funding and sending money over to Indo-Pacific countries like Taiwan? I have a theory, but I can't substantiate it. But let me tell you what my opinion is. Did you know that Taiwan was at the forefront of the semiconductor chip war that we're having with China? It's a fact. Taiwan, think about it. A lot of y'all don't hear, you hear about Ukraine, you hear about Israel, you ain't know nothing about Taiwan. But if you start to follow the money, and the reason why this is called the Millionaire Morning Show is because we follow the money. We don't care about what you think. We following the money. Taiwan is at the forefront of the semiconductor chip war. Listen, the war is digital, the war is financial, the war is about technology. Taiwan is at the forefront of the semiconductor chip war that we are having with China and other countries. And this is one of the reasons why we want to spend your tax dollars to continue to shore up aid over in Taiwan. Let me rewind it for you because you might have missed it over there in the back. We just tried to skip over that and tried to add that as the last talking point. It's not just Ukraine. It's not just the Israel. It's not just humanitarian crisis. Man, Haiti been messed up for a long time. It's a lot of these places. Africa ain't never got their fair share. That's a fact, though. Africa don't even own its own land anymore. Africa is worse than Chicago in that they don't even own their own streets anymore. Let me play it again for you, just so you don't think I'm saying something.
Ukraine, humanitarian assistance, and Indo-Pacific countries like Taiwan. Well, President Biden says he would veto an Israel-only bill. The White House has not said if it has to be all of his security priorities or nothing.
Security priorities. Why is that a security? Ask yourself. Listen, these are key terms because words mean things. Why is that a security priority? Let me bring it to you from a different perspective. Maybe they can give us some additional insight.
Some breaking news to tell you about on Capitol Hill. A short time ago, the House passed a Republican-led bill to give Israel more than $14 billion in aid. The vote was mostly along party lines, championed by Louisiana Republican and new House Speaker Mike Johnson. It sets up a clash in the Senate where Democrats say they prefer an aid package that also includes money for Ukraine. NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor has more. Hey, Sahil.
The House voted 226 to 196 this evening to pass a major bill that grants $14.3 billion in aid to Israel. It was Speaker Mike Johnson's first legislative test. And
Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. I know we minding out the information in order to get back to the money, but it's too many S's in your S, big dog. It's a lot of lisps and a lot of S's, and those T's are incredibly exaggerated. I'm just saying. I'm just using my context clues. It's a lot of S's and them S's. Them S's is carrying, ain't they? When somebody, they bring them S's over into the S's, you be like, Jesus, how many S's is on the end of that word? Y'all not catching it. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there.
he managed to keep, for the most part, his conference together, losing the votes of just 2 Republicans and gaining 12 Democrats for a bill that is dead on arrival in the Senate and has drawn vociferous objections from the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, as well as a veto threat from President Joe Biden, who objected to $14.3 billion in cuts to IRS funding from the president's signature achievement, which the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan scorekeeper, said would grow the deficit by lowering tax collections. There's a veto threat by the president, but the bill is not getting to his desk because Senator Chuck Schumer has made clear that the chamber is not even going to consider it. Let's play what Schumer.
Dog, them S's is S'ing, ain't they? Jesus Christ. Let's hear what Chuck Schumer got. Let's hear what Chuck Schumer got to say. I don't want to make any assumptions, so I'm just saying, but the S's is S'ing. You know what I'm saying?
I had to say.
The Senate will not take up the House's GOP's deeply flawed proposal, and instead will work on our own bipartisan emergency aid package that includes aid to Israel, Ukraine, competition with the Chinese government, and humanitarian aid for Gaza.
See, they don't want to say it, and they don't want to add all of the context. Competition for humanitarian aid and competition with China. Competition for humanitarian aid and competition. Listen, let me play it back for you. I didn't even know he was going to say that. I haven't even seen this clip yet.
It still mystifies that includes aid to Israel, Ukraine, competition with the Chinese government, and humanitarian aid for Gaza.
Competition with the Chinese government and humanitarian aid for Gaza. Competition with the Chinese government. Why they won't just tell y'all exactly what's going on, y'all? Dog. If we can't put this together and see, if we can see it, because again, and this is one of the reasons why you want to use multiple different sources and then compare and contrast, because you'll actually see what the play is if you start to put it together. I know we slow, but we ain't that slow, right? We know where the money going. They told me that I wasn't necessarily good in social studies, but I was definitely good in math. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying, hey, y'all can't, man, you're not gonna slip this by me. And this is how they do y'all. They distract y'all with the things that they think is meaningful to you. And then they push through all of the things that actually is best for them. Dude, don't you know that these bills, a lot of times y'all don't read these bills and y'all say y'all don't have time for it, but this is your money, so why wouldn't you read it, right? If you look at these bills, if you look at the Build Back Better plan and the great new infrastructure deal and the CHIPS Act, baked down in those bills, and I read them, I skim through them, I took a speed reading class, it's very much helped me throughout my life. And if you read it, if you go through it, it has several different things in there that actually tell you and paint you a better story. And that's the thing that these legislative branches are actually fighting about. They're not fighting about whether or not they agree with the bill or not. They're fighting to figure out where it is that they can get they cut inside of there for the things that mean the most to them and whoever it is that's funding them and lobbying for them. And so if you start to listen and you start to put it together and you're paying attention to the context clues and you listen to what one platform says and then what the other platform says, it will then help you to make a better decision as to who it is that you should be lobbying, advocating, and voting for, because they may not necessarily have your best interest at heart because they pushing stuff through there that ain't even got nothing to do with you. How is it a humanitarian crisis when it's literally just a competition with another country? Y'all better wake up. See, they think that being woke up has everything to do with being black. Being woke got everything to know where the money going. Let me tell you something. Being woke is knowing where the money is going. Has nothing to do with black, white. This is a class war. It's a class war, fam. Even if you want to talk about the gender war, it's largely based off of the idea that if I can break up what it is that you stand for, I can then tie you over to the federal government, which will allow for me to do what I want to do from a financial front. And so it always comes back down to the money, even if you think it's something different. You don't think that they know that over there in their backyard they got 10 cities? You think that we the only ones that's paying attention to it? You don't know what's going on? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to move over to the show. Because I'm saying too much right now. I'm saying way too much. Jamal Fowler says, get money and have a great weekend. Yeah. Shout out to Jamal Fowler. I appreciate you. Mr. Maximus has been holding me down for quite a time. Mr. Maximus says, I missed yesterday's live. Was planning on seeing you in D.C. tomorrow, but I need to make an emergency flight to Queens. Go ahead and get that Queens money. I know where you going to Queens. I know why you going to Queens. Says they got a 2-for-1 special Asian box cuisine with a side of Venezuelan booty. Woo! Shout out to Mr. Maximus. I appreciate you, big dog. You ain't missed the show yesterday. You seen it. Enos Luby says, just had a thought. Coming in and not hit the like button is like walking to somebody's house without brushing their feet. What up, fellow chasers? Are y'all part of the Patreon yet? Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We gonna get there. Danistar says, ADI, I've been using the Mint budgeting app for years now. For budgeting category with them shutting down, what should I do? Move over to Wave apps. Move over to Wave apps. I break down and I show my people in the Patreon the software that I use in order to keep my numbers. You can use Wave apps for both your business and your personal finances. Wave apps is free, and it's not an application that you need to download from the App Store. You can just go to their website, Wave, W-A-V-E. They should be paying me for this. apps.com, Wave apps. That is the software that you want to use. If you want to deeper dive into it, go to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I often at times show my numbers of what I do financially for different businesses and then how I have my accounts connected to it. And then I just go through and I'll be able to categorize it, and they use an artificial intelligence and technology to make it and simplify it to make it easier for you to be able to go through. So shout out to you. I appreciate you. Wave apps is definitely the wave, fam. I love Wave apps. I've been using it for literally over a decade. Mind of a King, Heart of a Lion says the DC band to rock is not Junkyard. It's backyard band go-go music. That's hometown for me. Family, be safe in the DMV this weekend and make sure you bring back you some mumbo sauce is fire. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, my friend. Jeremy H is in the building, says, I'm a fan, but glad Marvel butt getting kicked for wokeness. M. Ali was about to quit Blade because of the female director wanted to get rid of the vampires. No. Tell me it ain't so. Say it ain't so. The J-Rock says, eliminating me and my wife dead. 1 month down, 6 to go, head down, finish line, ain't no X-Men's Shout out to J-Rock 24K and my bag chasers. And my bag chasers in the building. J-Rock also says, AD ain't no Band-Aids. He's spicy. Spicy. Fi Brown in the building says, so screw Hawaii, huh? I don't know. Let's go over to Chicago. Listen, I've been looking forward to this part of the show every time that I do a live stream. And I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Every time I do a live stream, you know what? First of all, let me give a shout out to Cornelius Jackson. Cornelius Jackson with the 20 ball on Cash App. I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. Thank you. I'm going to have a new animation for the people that support me on PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo next week. We got that in the works. We add things as we go. We're going to continue to run it up. So, one of my favorite things to do, and this is the part of the show that I always look forward to the most. I'm going to be honest with you. Chicago just seemed like it can't get right. Can't Get Right is out here in Chicago doing this thing. Can't Get Right is in Chicago doing this thing. Chicago is on a path of destruction to not only use and nuke the money that they have from their own state and constituents in their own city, but also from you, from your pockets. And they said, listen, not only are we spending $30 to $40 million a month of our own money, but we're going to go over to Washington and we're going to petition for the rest of the country to join in us becoming a sanctuary city. Let's go ahead and bring Chicago to the front of the congregation. This is Brandon Johnson over the last couple of days and what it is that he's been doing. Cameras has been following him. He's been documenting the journey. He's going to communicate to you very clearly of what it is that he stands for.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is in Washington, D.C. today, joining mayors from other large cities asking the Biden administration for more help with the migrant crisis. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza live for us in the control room with the latest on this trip today. Sabrina?
Joe, at the rate Chicago is going, they will not be able to sustain the number of migrants that are coming to the city. That is the message that Mayor Brandon Johnson is bringing with him to Washington today. At this rate, he says the city is spending $40 million a month supporting this crisis.
Let's stop there, guys. Let's stop there. $40 million a month supporting with no plan in place as to how it is that he's going to fund it. He said we're going to get there and then we're going to run over to Washington and we're going to beg Biden the same way that these chicks is begging Biden for student loan forgiveness. You know how your chick got the $40? It take her $40 in order to get back on her feet. Chicago is that chick that's coming to daddy, and they said we spending $40 million a month and growing. Think about it. At $40 million a month, they were already over in a budget deficit of literally almost $100 million when Lori Lightfoot was in office. And then he protested and he wanted to get in office, and I warned you. Listen, I was so connected with what was going on throughout the country that I told y'all, and I brought it up here on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I said, listen, guys, this mayoral race is taking place in Chicago. They want to have the Safety Act. They're becoming a sanctuary city. I've been having this conversation with y'all since last year. I warned you, and I said, these are your options. If I was in Chicago, I would go with this guy over here because he actually stands for and would be a better representation of what you guys need. He's not just a face with a mohawk that it gives you representation because you're black. I warned you. I put it on the front of I brought him to the front of the congregation before we ever did these deep dives in these shows to where I started criticizing his policies and the way he's running the city. I warned you. I told you, but you decided that you wanted to vote him in office anyway. And now you're getting mad at me because he's literally considered, as of right now, as of Friday, November 3rd, 2023, the worst mayor in the United States of America, in my opinion. Congratulations, Chicago. Don't get mad at me for holding y'all accountable now.
On a quick trip to Washington.
It's certainly an urgency in our part.
A big ask. In this letter, the mayors of Chicago, L.A., Denver, Houston, New York, asking for...
Listen, look at these cities. Look at these sanctuary cities that we bring into the front of the congregation. Chicago, right at the front of the list. Denver, Mike Johnston, the Johnson and the Johnson and Johnson, right next to each other. You see him, Johnson and Johnson? Are these not the very people that I have been bringing to the front of the congregation and warned you that this was going to happen? I told you. I literally brought every last one of these cities to the front of the congregation, and I told you. I said, listen, they're going to be begging. It's not going to just be Illinois. It's not just going to be Denver. It's not just going to be Texas. They're going to be begging, and they're going to be trying to get y'all money on a federal level. They're not just going to have it contained within their own cities and their own states. Brandon Johnson, Mike Johnston, Karen Bass, Sylvester Turner, and New York. Welcome to New York. Eric Adams, with Lil Mama standing on the stage with him like this. I'm going to be standing on the stage just like this. Dog, I can't wait till political season come up. I'm turning up on the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm turning up on the Millionaire Morning. I can't wait till political season start to pop off because Anton going to be right here saying, welcome to Detroit, nigga. Real talk.
$5 billion to, quote, cover the expenditures their cities have already incurred and, quote, to continue serving the number of people arriving. They're also asking for accelerated approval of work authorizations and a more coordinated entry process for migrants.
As a city, as we continue to provide wraparound services and health care and sheltering and resettlement, registering individuals for our public institutions, our schools, that this financial dynamic has caused a tremendous burden on our local economy.
As of September 29th, the city of Chicago has spent $116 million welcoming migrants. That does not include Parks Department spending, $270,000, spending by Chicago Public Schools, $1.4 million, and $15.8 million from Cook County Health. The city is projecting there will be a shortage of anywhere from $150 million to $201 million by the end of the year.
By the end of this year, we're going to reach well over $300 million alone in just addressing this year's dynamic.
While the mayors met with the White House chief of staff, as well as senators and representatives.
We put this on the president. This is all at the president's door. He's not doing anything. He's giving us something that's not sustainable.
City Council is in the middle of creating their budget for next year.
We have to figure this out, and certainly it's got to start with closing the border and at least have a moratorium on letting people come in.
Shelter, food, clothing, schooling, healthcare. I don't have to say anything because you're looking at it. Are you mad at me or are y'all? I want y'all to give all of the energy that y'all mad at me for bringing Chicago to the front of the congregation. I want you to give it to your mayor. Y'all call into this show to hold me accountable, but you ain't never called the mayor's office. At least I called the mayor's office for your own city in order to get some answers of what's going on. I called the mayor's office for your city to get some answers on what's going on. Deficits, gnashing of the teeth, money lost, higher taxes. Nobody is covering this. Nobody is really doing the thing that they're supposed to do for the black community. You know why? Because it's not salacious enough. It's not the thing that we should be talking about because we need more distractions as to how it is that you're supposed to take women out to the Cheesecake Factory. We're going to cover that too. But this is more important. Shouldn't it be more important? Umar Johnson got more to say about who Terrell Owens is dating and whether Jonathan Majors is going with snow bunnies than he do about what's going on in your own cities and your own communities. I'm more of a black leader than he ever been. Let me give a round of applause for myself for that. Let me give a second round of applause for myself for that. Let's see what's happening over on the front of Chicago as far as what the residents feel, because I know the residents want to say what's going on here. We in the wrong business, bag chasers. We need to go and get some commercial real estate in Chicago and charge Mayor Brandon Johnson $91,000 a month to house migrants on a long-term lease. What I said, Chicago, bag chasers in Chicago. We in the wrong business. We need to get in the commercial real estate business in order to charge Mayor Brandon Johnson $91,000 a month in order to house migrants. They don't care nothing about y'all. They don't care nothing about y'all.
Controversy over the site has sparked.
You ain't getting nothing. You don't get nothing. You don't pass go. You don't collect $200. You don't do none of that. Mayor Brandon Johnson wanted to address the people of what it is that he's doing great inside of the city. Let's see if we can get through this really quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We introduced 2 ordinances that will help support small businesses and development in our communities. First, the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection's outdoor patio zoning ordinance for breweries seeks to establish a licensing framework for outdoor patios, helping dozens of breweries in Chicago. Residents and visitors alike love outdoor dining. They particularly love it in Chicago. And restaurant owners love the ability to expand their space.
Jesus. No, this is not a long time ago. This is within the last 2 days that he did this. This is the things that he's sharing with the people in order to try to educate y'all on what they doing inside of Chicago's budget. Yo, shout out to the pulpit pimp. The pulpit pimp is in the building. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. That's finessing the people. That is really, really, really doing the Lord's work out here in these streets. Oh, man. Shout out to, I got to give it to Brandon Johnson. He finessed y'all out of a seat, and he is running it up. This dude is Kang the Conqueror. Brandon Johnson is Kang the Conqueror. He should be the very one that take over. Listen, if y'all gonna get rid of Jonathan Majors, bring in Brandon Johnson. If you gonna get rid of Jonathan Majors, bring in Brandon Johnson and make sure he play Kang the Conqueror. Flat out. Make sure that this guy plays Kang the Conqueror, because I cannot believe that this is playing out the way that it's playing out. This is what y'all got rid of Lori Lightfoot for? This is what y'all got rid of Beetlejuice for? Beetlejuice. This is what y'all got rid of Beetlejuice for? Jesus. I wish I had more time. I would mine this all the way out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got next week. We got next week. Let me go ahead. Y'all are more than welcome to be able to come up here and hold me accountable. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for y'all to do so. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. We got another story that we need to get to. KD says, look into the mayoral ballot stuffing in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Y'all got to send it to me in my email. I got so many things I want to go through. Email it to me, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. JRock24K says, 80, get the table. Get Chicago up out of here. I can't do it. Y'all got to do it because I'm not a resident of Chicago. Y'all the ones that voted for him to be in the office. You know what I'm saying? Let me move on because eventually I want to drop the link in the chat, and so we got to get to it. So, in addition to that, one of the things that we're also experiencing across the country is, ta-da, evictions. Evictions are on the rise, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? It's happening in Atlanta. It's happening in Arizona. It's happening in Seattle and coming to a city near you. It's certainly happening in Houston, but it's coming to a city near you. Let me share with you what's going on with regard to evictions in your state.
Those numbers, you may think that thousands of people were just kicked out of their homes, but that is not the case. We're told that most of these cases actually end with the tenants and the landlord coming to an agreement.
Maricopa County Constable, open the door.
I love me a tough, rough, and Afro puff sheriff that's coming in and kicking the door. Thankfully, I've never had the opportunity to be able to evict somebody because I would never want to do that. I would love for you to just continue to pay your rent on time so that we don't have no problems. And if you want to understand how to vet tenants effectively, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
Process that usually begins with a tough situation.
A lot of those stories are just really, really difficult.
Justice of the Peace Anna Huberman sees eviction cases every week. She says most people falling behind on rent either lost their job or had a health emergency.
People have been paying their rent, and then something happened 1 month that put them behind.
Most people, and this is why I can't understand why these talking points are being communicated across the internet. The overwhelming majority of people that make six figures are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people are one paycheck away from losing everything. Most people do not have $1,000 or $500 in order to bridge them if they have some kind of emergency. When I did a lot of volunteer work, and I spent every single Saturday for 1 year straight working with homeless people and volunteering down here in downtown Detroit, well over a decade ago. When I did a lot of this volunteer work, what I found was that your view of what a homeless person looks like back then, and it's even more exaggerated now, is completely different than what we're sold as a social norm, right? Most people wind up doing van life, living in a car, coming down here to get something to eat, looking for some shelter in the wintertime because they were one situation away and that situation found them. Because you can't run forever. You can't run forever from the thing that's trying to catch you, because that thing that's catching you, it don't have to breathe. It could just keep going. That debt is coming for you. That situation, that emergency. Y'all keep telling me, oh man, I don't want to do what I want to do. Yo, I was watching a video where somebody sent me of me, where people were reacting to me in a TikTok, and everybody kept saying that, oh man, it ain't even about money. We don't even care about money. It's about the love of the Lord. And why God talk about so much money inside of the Bible? They keep telling me it's not about whether or not you got money or not. It's whether or not you feel good and whether or not you are nice to people. Last time I checked, Nice didn't pay the rent. And that landlord want his money because he ain't trying to fall behind in his mortgage payment, because a lot of people don't understand that the majority of the people that's renting out their home to you got to still make that mortgage payment over into the mortgage company, which is one of the reasons why I'm putting together this video on how to buy mortgage notes. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. It's tough out here in these streets.
Nearly 8,000 eviction filings in Maricopa County last month. That was a record high.
It is a daunting task to pay the rent every month. It's not a lot of fun.
David Leibowitz is with the Arizona Multi-Housing Association. He says the eviction filing record makes landlords look bad, but he claims 2/3 of these cases don't end with someone being kicked out.
It is absolutely our last resort.
Leibowitz says there will be more eviction filings as more people move here. While the total number of eviction filings went up, AMA says the rate of eviction filings per person went down. It was 16 per 1,000 residents in 2010, but last year it dropped to under 15. He says some of them are the same people who were filed against multiple times.
Act like property owners are terrible and they're just evicting people. That's just not the case.
High interest rates and home costs are forcing more people than ever to rent, which drove up the cost of renting an apartment or a home. The average judgment in a case, just $1,500 back in 2005, but now it's doubled to more than $3,000, which means falling behind a few months can really set people back.
And you know the interesting thing is about that? You know what's interesting about that? Is that it's the highest number of people who have been filed to get evicted since 2005. Since 2005. The highest number over there in Arizona since 2005. Let me share with y'all what they're doing over there in Atlanta in order to solve for it.
Is a growing problem in our city. Evictions piling up across the metro.
More than 15,000 eviction cases have been filed in Cobb County this year. That's all according to data from the Metro Atlanta Housing Strategy. Now the county is hoping to cut that number down with an innovative new court program. Atlanta News First reporter Chelsea Bonfor is live outside Cobb Magistrate Court tonight. And Chelsea, this agreement between the legal system and a nonprofit organization has the potential here to get a lot of these families off the street.
15,000 and counting this year in Atlanta alone.
Yeah, Savannah, that's the goal, to get them out of eviction court and into housing. This pilot program will also teach families financial literacy and has the potential to scrub any prior evictions off their record.
See, and this is the stuff that I don't like. I don't like. Let me tell you something, bro. Do you know why we pull a credit report? It's not just to see what your number is. It's to see a couple different things. And I talk about this extensively inside of the Patreon. The first reason why we pull it is we want to understand the affordability. I'm not as concerned about the number as I am about what your debt to income ratio is. I need to see how many things you have in your name that you paying versus whatever it is that you make, because I need to understand that you can actually afford the rent here. Let me say that again. I need to understand how much you make and then what your debt to income ratio is, because you may not have been paying your student loans over the last year. And so the way that we vet for people that qualify to be able to rent from us, and the reason why we pull your credit report is A, to understand whether you can afford it, and then B, to see what the history is. And them wiping the fact that you've been evicted off of your record then makes you another problem tenant, and I don't understand how we can do that. How is that a thing? So I can't understand whether or not you finessed somebody else and took money off of their record, and then somehow, some way, we gonna get it to the point to where we can get it off of your record? Come on, family. Come on, man. Shout out to Atlanta for always doing dumb junk, though.
Feeding your family can be difficult when you're struggling to pay rent. That's why the Center for Family Resources in Marietta keeps their food pantry stocked, and now they're partnering with the Cobb County Magistrate Court to tackle the ongoing housing crisis.
There's hundreds of people that come through, unfortunately, on a weekly basis into magistrate court for evictions.
This week, Cobb commissioners approved the formation of a Housing Stability Court, an innovative new program that will provide eligible families with financial assistance and the option to seal eviction records. CEO of the Center for Family Resources, Melanie Kagan, says those eviction records are often what cause barriers to future housing applications.
Let me read this really quickly. I want to see this. I want to bring this up real quick. Hot Candy, shout out to Hot Candy. I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. Says, may Jesus Christ be with you all. Remember, love is more powerful than any amount of money anyone have. A blessed day. Love will be the only thing to save America. Please keep love in you all hearts and pray. Well, Hot Candy, listen, you seem like a very sweet girl. But let me tell you something. Love is not the only thing that's going to save America. It's not love, baby. It's not love, baby. Love is not the only thing that could save them. Let me tell you something. If you love them, you will chastise them. If you love them, you will shame them. If you love them, you will discipline them. Because it is out of love that God has forged the path for us to be successful. You have to suffer in love. And listen, suffering is what you will do to then reign with him. You got to go through it, baby. You got to go through it, baby. Love don't pay the bills unless you're giving up some of that love in order to get that $40. Hot Candy, I love you. But I don't love what your sentiment is, baby. That's the sentiment of a woman. That's not a sentiment of what men have to go through. We understand that if you ain't loving, going to your job every day in order to pay them bills and get that money, Love don't live there anymore because she gonna say that she can do bad by herself. Real talk. She gonna say, listen, I love you, but you gotta go. I love you, but you gotta go.
Once they've experienced that eviction or have that filing, even if they were let out of the lease and they're trying to find something new, that filing is going to follow them.
The pilot program is being funded by $1.3 million in federal emergency rental assistance funds left over from the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement, Cobb Chief Magistrate Judge Brendan Murphy said in part, "We've been charged with bridging the gap to the future. This will bring resources to bear so folks can lift their families to a better situation."
Here's my question. How come Love didn't carry the people that wasn't in America that's trying to get into the country? Just curious. How come Love wasn't enough for these collapsing economies, collapsing countries, these countries that are experiencing extreme inflation? How come Love wasn't enough to carry them? I see them with a whole bunch of children. They had to love each other in order to make them, right? How come Love? Hot Candy, listen, I'm going to open up the live stream for you to be able to call in and express your thoughts. Hot Candy says this. Let's see what Hot Candy says. Hot Candy says, I died and he saved me, Jesus Christ is king, period. Not money. Remember, you meant people for I meant people for a reason, and I don't do social media. Love will save you who can hear me. We don't hear that though. We don't hear that. We don't hear that, baby. How did he save you? I know how I got saved. I was on an altar tearing. Oh, Jesus. And until I got the Holy Ghost. It is the Spirit of God give utterance. Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. That's how we do it in a black church. I don't know how y'all did it. Maybe y'all did it in the other way. Did y'all do it the other way? Did y'all do it where they had to say, do you accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior? I do. And they say, okay, be blessed. That was the way y'all did it. We had to work for ours. I always try to figure out, how did they do y'all's? Because when I was coming up, we had to tarry. Y'all know what tarrying means? It means to wait on the Lord. We had to cry our eyes out. We was on our hands and knees, clapping and tarrying for the Holy Ghost. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. That's how we did it. Maybe I'm new here. I'm like a blend of old and new because I understand technology and I understand the ways that we move today, but it's a little bit different from how y'all moved yesteryear. We did it a little bit different. And then when we got up off the altar and we were saved, sanctified, and we were shouting, doom, 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 doom. We were shouting, yes, praise him. They said, make sure you pay your tithes and offering because we ain't going to have no church to tarry in if we don't get that building fund together. You know what I'm saying? They said, make sure you pay your tithes and offerings. You know that hot meal that you get because you ain't got no job and you went over there to the pantry? Somebody had to spend some money to buy that in order to make sure that you fed in the morning. You know what I'm saying? You know, all of these donations that then come in order for you to be able to get housing and food and the Salvation Army, somebody had to actually pay for that, baby. That building fund, them tithes and offerings, yeah, like Jeezy said. It's different. Listen. DTE said, we don't really care how hard y'all shouting in there. If y'all want some electricity in that building, you gonna have to pay the bills. I'm just saying, I'm in a whole nother space right here. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's different over here. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to sit here and tell you that the rent was due yesterday. The rent was due yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all talking about, because when the women is taken care of enough for them to be able to just come up and say, let me drop the link in the chat. I know I was going to do another segment. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. The rent was due yesterday. You know, Bishop, he was, if you got any disagreement with me, if you have any, or you think, listen, we can have a civilized conversation. You don't even have to get on camera. You can just call in. If you have a disagreement with me, I am going to pin this to the top of the chat. When all of the women feel good enough to be able to go into church every day and they can come home to that warm house, somebody had to pay that light bill and that gas bill. Somebody had to pay that light bill and that gas bill. It didn't pay itself. I know that much. It didn't pay itself. I know that much. Somebody had to pay for it. I don't know what y'all on. I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. Give me a second. I got to make sure I pin this to the top of the chat, because I know y'all say love don't live here anymore. Love don't live. Why women always say I can do bad by myself if love is the only way? Why they keep asking for money for the building fund? Link is pinned to the top of the chat, y'all. I'm just saying. Just give me a little bit of insight. So I put the link in the chat for anybody that disagree with me. You are more than welcome to be able to call in. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna get it moving with the show. Performance Chip says Brandon Olstein is in the building. I appreciate you, Performance Chip. Thank you, my friend. Jay Hunter Lee says poverty is chasing you. Gave up on me because it couldn't catch me. I said I'm outrunning him. Counselor Mr. G says Brando Johnson is a whole bozo on a half throw, a red nose, and floppy shoes on him. He's just a shill like Heavyfoot was. The entire country been sold off since the 1914s. Research it. Shout out to Counselor Mr. G. Hey, Counselor Mr. G, I seen your commentary. See, y'all don't be thinking that I be knowing what's going on out here in these streets. I am paying attention because I need to know who's doing what, when, where, why, and how. Jason Statham says, no accountability, F and F landlords. Shaking my D head. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Enforcer 2K19 says, yo, why is the church always the nicest building in any hood, but the hood surrounding it is still a hood? Well, that's not the church's fault. That's the hood's fault for not caring about their property on an individual level. The church still need to be taken care of. It doesn't mean that the hood, that's the hood's fault. Because let me tell you something, the church buildings over in the white areas is nice too. They nice too. We not gonna put that on the church. Hot Candy, what is the real problem? Feel free to call in. You don't even have to be on the live stream. Hot Candy, I'm not going for it, baby. I'm not going for it, Hot Candy. I am not going for it. A lot of people say that they got a disagreement with Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Well, now is your opportunity to communicate it effectively, and you don't even have to be on camera to do so. I want to hear what the disagreements are. But until we get there, because I see no smoke in the chat, let me go ahead and share with you what it is that I've observed that is happening on the money front as far as all of these fashion and handbag companies. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it popping, y'all.
94 million. And one.
You know what y'all need to watch? Let me rewind this a little bit. Let me show y'all this. You know what y'all need to watch? Go watch. It's a video that I watched on a plane one time. and it was called, I believe it was called The House of Gucci. The House of Gucci. And it takes you through the history of the family and how he started the company and then how eventually the company was taken from him, because creativity often at times give way to capitalism, and the creators and the people that's at the forefront is not really the ones that profit from it. Kate Spade, Stewart, Jimmy, Versace, Capri, all of them are corporate owned entities. Did you know that the richest man in the world, and it fluctuates as far as the valuation of what their holdings are, this richest man in the world is not even Elon Musk. LVMH, baby. LVMH. That is largely considered one of the richest men in the world. I'm going to start bringing y'all up shortly. I want to play a little bit more of this, and then we're going to get to it.
Million.
Is what it's adding to that specific company. They're investing in future growth rates and being able to see that you can capitalize on what a brand is and enhance your own stature can create for a win-win scenario.
Right now, the future is all about size. There's consolidation because you have to be part of a big company. And that has been the opposite of what luxury has been about for decades.
So what they tend to do, and the reason why this makes sense, is the same reason why it makes sense in every other industry, including the auto industry, including the finance industry. You see banks buy other banks. You see automakers often at times swallow up other competitors. And how it works is they like to use this word called synergy, right? Synergy is basically code for saying that we want to simplify the company by eliminating things that you do over here that we already do over here, and we just want to swallow up your sales while minimizing the amount of money that you have to spend for us to do the same thing over there. So let me give you an example. If I have an HR representative and structure over here, and then I swallow up your company, I can still run your company the same way that I run my company, but I can get rid of your HR staff, which minimizes costs and allows for me to continue to expand my sales. If we have a technology resource over here and we have project managers and developers and we already got cloud infrastructure and we want to have synergy, that means that we can lay off what it is that y'all doing over there, swallow up the brand. You already got infrastructure. You already got additional marketing that we can then deploy dollars over into, and we can expand the brand while also making you think that we're competing against each other, but we're really just all taking in the entire pie now. So the pie is ours, but what we do is we minimize costs, or we shave costs, or we cut costs by combining resources and allowing for us to do more with less while continuing to raise sales. That's what's called synergy, or corporate speak for continuing to lay people off in order to save money. And so they don't want you to think that they're the same company. Have y'all ever heard of Yum Brands? A lot of times the same food comes from the same distribution company, but it's just sourced out to different places. We had this conversation the other day, and I didn't even realize that Aldi was basically the same place as Trader Joe's. The same family that owns Aldi owns Trader Joe's. And I called it, and I didn't even know it. I said, man, Trader Joe's is kind of doing the same thing, except for they doing more upscale. They're not necessarily leveraging name brands. They're giving a different experience and then charging you more money and then saying that it's synergy, right? And so what these brands are doing is swallowing each other up, continuing to consolidate sales, and then pushing out similar products as made with the same materials that often allows for you to then get status if you're associated with the brand. I didn't even know that Versace, I knew that it wasn't owned by the Versace company and that they were just the front, but I didn't even know Versace had recently got swallowed up by this entity. Let's see a little bit more, and then I'm about to bring y'all up.
What these companies are doing is basically mirroring LVMH, Richemont, Kering, the big three, which own dozens of brands and have shown that the only way to survive is to be big, but also create the illusion that you're small and special.
High interest rates, sticky inflation, and the return of student loan payments are just a few of the problems straining business balance sheets and reducing consumer spending.
I bet you didn't know, because it's all about perception. Remember that? J.D. Power and Associates, some people already have a certain perception before they even go into a specific dealership. I bet you didn't know that General Motors and Toyota partner on some vehicles. I bet you didn't know that General Motors and Honda partner on some vehicles. I bet you didn't know that some of these companies like Maserati use the same engines from Ferrari. That the underpinnings for some of these platforms that you love so much, but then you hate what their competitors doing just because of the marketing, is in most instances the same workers making the same product across the board. Some of the new, and one of the things that a lot of competitors like to do is they like to let another company build the go through the research and development, and then what they do is they're using their underpinnings to make the same vehicle, and then they rebrand it. That's why earlier it wasn't as much of a differentiation, because a Mercury looked like a Ford, which then looked like a Lincoln, and now they figured out how to source out and differentiate it a little bit differently. If you look at it, okay, I'll give you an example. The Lamborghini Urus is the Porsche. The Lamborghini Urus is the Porsche. It's the Cayenne. If you look under it, it's all owned by the Volkswagen Group. And if you go through and you look at some of the underpinnings and the frame and this and that, so on and so forth, if you ever had to do any repairs, it'll have Volkswagen stickers or it'll have Porsche stickers on there. Audi, Lamborghini, Volkswagen. You're absolutely correct. I bet you didn't know that Rolls-Royce actually was owned by BMW. It's owned by BMW. A Urus is a Cayenne. Rebadged. It's the same thing with these luxury brands. It's all owned by the same people. In order for them to save money, they then have synergy, and then they market it differently in order to save money and drive up sales.
In the retail world, mergers and acquisitions have become a way to keep growing despite macroeconomic headwinds.
The growth-oriented acquisitions really help to drive the business further. For example, go from apparel and enter cosmetics. New designers can create interest because you can extend your customer base, whether it's extending your customer base older or younger, or extending your customer base globally. A lot of brands, and luxury brands for the most part, are up significantly, 50% plus versus 2019 in the pandemic, but the growth rate on a year-over-year basis is definitely moderating.
The other big question for luxury is the growth era, the golden era for luxury, over?
So that's all I wanted to share with you. Is I wanted to share with you that these companies are all being swallowed up. So when you go in and you buy these companies, I want y'all to start researching a little bit so you understand who you're supporting and how you can invest in it. Over 2 years ago, I did this program. I'm about to start bringing y'all up. Over 2 years ago, I suggested something to y'all, and some people forgot it and some people continue to do it. And what it did was it forced people to start doing some research, and that was the whole purpose of it, is to understand what you're buying, but also take a vested interest in it, so that you'll make more informed decisions. And I said that, listen, for whatever it was that you were about to go out and spend money on, cut it in half. Some of y'all remember this. That was early bag chasers, early Patreon members. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I said, listen, make sure that whatever it is that you buy, cut it in half. And then spend half researching and then purchasing equity into the company that you're purchasing a product for. And if you don't actually want to do that, then that means that A, you're not being fiscally responsible, or B, you actually don't agree with whoever it is that's funding whatever it is that's going on as far as the product that you're purchasing. Same thing with the grocery stores. You can buy Kroger. You can also buy in a Walmart. For everything that you buy, cut it in half and take equity in the company and then spend half of what it is that you was going to buy on the actual product. A lot of y'all forgot about that, didn't y'all? A lot of y'all forgot about that, didn't y'all? Whatever it is that you want to buy, take a vested interest in it so that you'll be an equity partner as a result of it. Some of y'all don't even own what it is that you drive. Some of y'all don't even own what you drive. Before I ever bought a Tesla, I bought Tesla. Before I ever bought a Tesla, I bought Tesla. We'll get there. Let me start bringing y'all up because I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are. I dropped a link in the chat for anybody that disagrees with me. Let me read some of the super chats, and then I'm going to start bringing you up. I'm going to start with you, Fearless. Magnum Group and Vibes Lounge says a fool and his money shall soon part, and that's straight from God. I appreciate you, Magnum. Christina, hey, Anton, made my first payment of paying back student loans. As a junior in college, any advice for stewarding money the right way? Thank you, sir. I would say that, and I don't know what the state of where you are in your life as far as where you're working at and stuff like that. Apply for more grants. Stay with your parents. Do not look to move out. Don't stay on campus. If you can, do in-state tuition. And just try to spend as least amount of money as possible and then deploy the majority of your resources and make sure that you go into a program. Being a good steward of money is also making a lot of money. It's also making a lot of money. It's not just not making mistakes. It's also generating a lot of revenue. So a lot of the things that you have to do also is making decisions on where you want to spend the majority of your time and the resources at, right? Going to the good fields, the great programs, STEM programs is always good. Healthcare is always good. But then in addition to that, I would also say just make sure you minimize the amount of money that you have to spend to entertain people or to prove stuff to people that don't even care anything about you. But very, very smart. Minimize debt. Pay that junk off as soon as you get out of college and you get a job. And then don't let that stuff prevent you from being even more successful. Shout out to Christina. I appreciate you for holding us down and very, very good. J-Rock 24/7 says, 80, I got $15 for her. What you want to do? Oh, my God. JK says, I became a bag chaser today. Been watching your content for a few weeks. Thank you for all that you do. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's give a round of applause for all of the new bag chasers. Time's Up says, what's your plan when the mark of the beast is implemented? I don't have a plan. I'm going to just continue to live until I die. And I'm going to continue to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost and live in God's word. Sharkeisha's Do Exist says, holla, holla, holla. Shout out to Sharkeisha's Do Exist. Y'all be coming up with some weird names. All right, so let's start off with my dog, Fearless. Fearless, on camera or off camera? On camera. All right, got you. Let's start off with my dog, Fearless. Fearless, I know you got a good argument for me this time. What's going on, my friend? I know you got something good for me. You about to run me down, hold me accountable, and make sure that you take care of business.
The first one will be a slight one. I looked back at your podcast and didn't understand why you gave this advice. Usually you give some good financial advice. I couldn't understand this one because I do this all the time.
Okay.
You said you should not purchase your vacation. So I didn't
Wait,
understand
say that
why
again?
you said that. You said that you should not purchase an additional vacation, like vacation hours.
Okay. So educate me as to why that makes sense. I've never seen that make sense.
No problem. So fortunately, I get about 4 weeks of vacation, sick time, things like that. Other people do not.
Okay.
I'll tell you how it works at my job, and I'll give you some simple numbers.
Okay.
Say I made $10 an hour.
Okay.
I make $10 an hour, and that's what they're going to take out. So over the course of this year, that year, I would have given $400 for my vacation.
If you're buying a week of vacation?
Yes.
Okay, so you would give them $400 for another week off.
That is correct.
Okay, I'm with you.
At the end of the year, I do not use that vacation. I get it back. But here's the caveat. I bought my vacation at $10 an hour. Usually in my company, we get our pay raises or increases in the middle of the year. Last year, I got an increase where I got a promotion, made about $30,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you the analogy, if I bought it at $10 an hour, and at the end of the year, I got a promotion or I got an increase, I get paid at the new rate, and not at the rate I bought it at. So if going with the $10 an hour fixation, if I got $11,
you said you get it back though.
That's if I don't use it. That's if I do decide not to use it. So if I decide,
you said you don't use it though. Most people
What's that?
buy vacations. Most people buy vacations in order to get extra time off. So it
That
doesn't
is
make any
correct.
difference.
So even that, you'll get paid at a higher rate. You paid $10 an hour to get it. When you do use your vacation, you'll be getting paid $11 an hour when you use it. I also
So
see
you're
that
saying
there's
that you
some
get an extra $40. Is that what you're saying?
correct. I mean, at $10 an hour. I don't make $10 an hour, so I'm just giving a simple number.
But
So
either way, you're not getting paid for being off because you paid to be off.
that is correct. But if you do not use it, you get more. You get more. But
Hold on, wait. Let's stop there. You're not
Mhm.
getting paid because you paid to be off. You're paying them for the opportunity to not work and not make money.
And it
How
is
does that
great
make
if
sense?
because if you use it, you're still in the safe. So some people use all of their vacation, then they need an extra vacation day to get off because their kid gets sick, something like that. They
Well,
can
no,
either
that's
take
just
a
called
non-paid day.
bad time management.
They get a non-paid day, so they're either not getting paid, or if they paid into it, they'll get more money than what they paid to be off.
But then you got to pay higher taxes also if you decide that you want to take the vacation.
All right, I don't care if I make $10,000 and then I make $20,000, I'll pay the extra tax to get off. What's that difference?
Why would you do
So
that?
if at the end of the year,
But wait.
uh,
But you why would you pay the extra? Okay, so let's mind it out both ways, right?
no,
Let's
it's
say
just,
you
it's
get
just
it back.
if you would,
Let's say you get it
if you
back and
make
you don't
$10
use
an
it,
hour
right?
and then you make $11 an hour, you pay extra taxes on that $1 an hour.
Correct,
you
but
make
it then minimizes what the impact was, or the growth that actually came along with making more money and still getting the vacation time. That's assuming that you don't use it. That's number one. So really, you only making an extra $30, right? Let's assume that you're making an extra $30.
It's $10 an hour.
If you don't use it, that's number one. But let's
Mhm.
say you do use it. The
Mhm.
point of going to work, the only time that I don't want to get paid is if you pay, or the only time that I want off is if you're paying me to be off. I don't want to be off. Why would I give you money in order to be off? Why would I give money back?
It's still you're not losing any money. Where are you losing the money at?
But what do you mean? Where am I losing the money? Because I have to pay them in order to be off.
You're not losing money if you use it. You're paying them to get off. But what happens
That's
if
the
you
whole
have to
idea.
take? Hold up. What happens if you have to take a day and you've extinguished all of your vacation?
Why would I do
All of
that?
your-
Why would you have to take?
Why,
Why would
that's
you
you.
extinguish?
Anton, you can't say it. You talking about the normal work person who may not have all that time to take off.
That's called bad
And so
time management.
a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. That's bad, but this
Then
is
that
reality.
means that they really need to be at work.
I understand, but sometimes you live paycheck to paycheck.
Mhm.
Your kid gets sick and you got to take off. You miss that one day, that can be detrimental to your week.
Then that means
So
that's why
not
you have to
having
manage your time more effectively.
Anton, you talking?
If you getting PTO, that means that you have the ability to still make money and not have to go to work. That
Good. Your
also
kid
means
gets sick,
that you
just
have to
leave
manage your
home
time
and
more
don't worry
effectively.
about it. Just
Huh?
leave 'em- Your kid gets sick, just put them in the car, drive to work, lock them in. That's all you got to do.
No, I'm saying that listen, most people's PTO accumulate monthly,
Mhm.
right? But also you can use that PTO ahead of time, but you're just basically in debt in PTO until you continue to use it. So like, for example, let's say everything starts over in January. For most jobs, it start over from January. You don't have any carryover, right? But I need an off day in January. But by the end of the year, my vacation package says, or I'm sorry, my benefits package says I'll get 4 to 6 weeks of PTO time. That's how much it accumulates to. So basically, if I'm working all the way through the end of the year and I'm using PTO in January, that'll come back and it'll cover itself. So you're really not at a deficit or whatever like that, right?
Anton, you probably get enough vacation just like me. Then I work remote. I get 4 weeks of vacation. I get 80 weeks of sick time. I get 24 hours of PTO. I'm never going to tap into.
So let's use that. So you get more than enough PTO time, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
In what instance would you run out? Because that's the scenario that you paint me.
You and I? No, that's me getting way more than enough.
Most people get the same. Most people getting more than enough too. You
People
don't think
get 4
so?
weeks of vacation. I don't see that. The regular worker getting like 1 week.
No, they don't. They get more than 1 week. Regular worker at minimum is getting at least 2 weeks.
I need to see that in the chat. Say it's in 2 weeks. You take a week vacation with your family. You know, hey, we went out. Next week, you get sick. Something happens. Your kid gets sick. You got two different kids that you can't take to school. They get in trouble. Whatever the case would be, wouldn't it be better to have a backup where you can get money instead of having a day where you don't get any money?
No.
We disagree. Yeah, this is the disagreement show because we disagree on that.
No, hecky no. Take your ass to work.
So if your kid is sick, they can't go to school, you should just still go to work. Okay, that makes perfect sense. You make
take
perfect
your ass
sense.
to work.
Okay, so what do you do with your time?
That's why it's two parents in the household. What are you, a single parent?
I don't have the children, so it
I'm not
doesn't
talking
affect
about
me.
you. I'm saying in a scenario, are you a single parent?
I would assume they're a single parent.
Okay, so we got all of the odds working against us. You don't have two parents in a household. You got a job where you only got 2 weeks of vacation. You got to get little Timmy back and forth to school or whatever, so on and so forth. You're telling me that a person does not have the ability to be able to have enough PTO time or time off to where they can keep their job unless they buy vacation time from the job an additional week. Is that what you're saying?
I've seen that.
Because first of all, if
I've
you
seen
live
where
paycheck to paycheck, you shouldn't even be buying no
you-
vacation time.
You miss one more day and you out of here.
Oh, well then your ass
I've
is
seen
fired.
it. So why not have a backup plan to make sure that if you have to miss that day, that you're covered?
My point is that you need to plan more effectively. If you know you only have 2 weeks of vacation time, then you need to be saving all of that in order to make sure that you can cover yourself if anything was to ever happen. You are not, see, you believe in privilege. I don't. I believe you get what you work for.
No,
So like
that's
for
not
no,
privilege.
yes you do, and I'm gonna tell you why you do.
That's not privilege.
No, I'm gonna give you an example.
Hold up, Anton.
I'm gonna give you
Privilege is
let me
I'm
finish. Let me
giving you-
finish. Let me give you an example. The scenario that you painted me is that you got a week of vacation that you went on.
Or whatever.
But you ain't got
reason
no
they had to take
weekends? You ain't got no weekends for you to go out and have fun?
or whatever reason they had to take off.
No,
So how is it? How is it?
No. You said they used a week of vacation, and then they
I'm just
had
giving a
another week
scenario.
where
I don't know
Timmy
what they
got
used
sick for
for
2
it.
days in a
Maybe
row.
Maybe that kid got COVID and they had to take a week out. I don't know. I'm just stating that
Most
it would be
jobs
nice
have
to
like a separation. They have a thing where you can do COVID, like a COVID takeoff or COVID pay. That's separate from your
You're
regular
taking what
PTO.
I'm saying literally. I'm just giving an example as to
And now we
why
have
they
to
would.
make it realistic. Otherwise, it doesn't
Why they
fly.
would take off. And I don't think, how's that privilege? Privilege is somebody giving you something. No one is
No,
giving
privilege
them
is
this.
you feeling
They
like you
are
entitled
paying.
to a vacation or you entitled to something more than what you signed up for when you agreed to the job. You're not entitled to anything except for what it is that you negotiated. So if you got 2 weeks of vacation time or you got 3 weeks of vacation time, most people I don't know anybody that gets PTO that does not get at least 4 weeks of vacation throughout the year. I don't know not one person, and I coach a lot of people. I don't know one person that don't have more than enough PTO. And they have to use it before they lose it because they have more than enough of what it is that they got. If you sign up for 2 weeks, you are not entitled to anything more than that 2 weeks. If you go over that 2 weeks, you have to be accountable for it. That anything that you expect more than that is privilege.
So aren't they being accountable for it if they buy the vacation?
No,
That's what
yeah,
I'm
you
saying.
can. No, you can. I'm not. Listen, we're not talking about
Why was it bad that they could do that? They are
because you're paying to be off, especially in a scenario. You paying to be off, especially in a scenario where you're saying that you live in paycheck to paycheck. Why would you pay to be off when you live in paycheck to paycheck? You need every dollar you can get.
To them, it almost becomes like a bank. If I need it, I'll use it. If
Which
I
is
don't
horrible.
need it, I get the money
Which
back.
is a horrible mindset, and it's one of the reasons why people get stuck in the poor or middle class because they make bad financial decisions. Listen, I'm not leaving $1 on the table. I'm
you're
not
leaving
leaving.
it on the table. In my
I'm not
scenario,
leaving
I
a
got
dollar.
even
If I
more
gotta pay you to be off, I'm leaving money on the table.
In my scenario, I didn't leave any money on the table, and I got
You
more
just
than any-
pose a separate. You keep bringing it back to yourself. Then you wanted to use a separate example that's outside of you. Which one we gonna go with? We gonna go with you, or we gonna go with the separate example?
Either one you want to go with, brother.
Let's go with
we
this.
can take
Okay, so let's go with the separate example. I'm not leaving $1 on the table. I want every ducat that's coming with me.
How are they leaving $1 on the table?
Because you paying to be off. You paying to go and play video games. You paying to go. I'm not paying you.
What are you talking about?
I'm not paying you to take a day off. That's crazy.
The thing is, so at the end of the year, they've extinguished their vacation. They've extinguished their PTO.
You better take your ass to work until next year when you reset.
And so what happens? So you just be irresponsible as a parent?
You was irresponsible as a parent when you used up all of your time.
But why do you know what they used it up for, Anton?
What did they use it up for? Give me an example then. Give me how they used their 2 weeks.
Kids sick. Somebody died in the family and had to go there. I don't know. Those would be the scenarios.
Okay, so let me paint another scenario. I'm a business owner. I have a huge deal on the table. Your punk ass kids keep getting sick every week, and I don't even believe that your kids is really sick because you keep using the same excuse talking about your kid got sick or your grandma and dad every single week, every single year for every job that you done been at. All right, we know
that's not being realistic. You're not being realistic.
No, this is realistic. Everybody's grandma die at a new job every single year. Even if their grandma is alive, everybody's grandma dies every year when they get a new position. That is a fact. That is a fact. So I'm a business owner. I got stuff being done, deals on the table. People need to be able to get whatever it is that they get. Then now I got to keep giving a fuck about what your kid. See, the thing about a job is supposed to be to where you leave your outside issues outside. I don't have the luxury of being able to bring my issues inside because the job still requires for me to take care of business and be there. But you keep bringing your punk ass kids talking about Timmy is sick. You need to find a job that's more aligned with your lifestyle and let me replace you with somebody that's actually about this life. Because I don't have time for your punk ass kid.
But
your kid don't mean nothing to me, bro.
So, all right. So what's the difference in you taking your 4 weeks of vacation because you lose it or you either use it or lose it, and you taking all your time off?
Yeah.
Or you buying more to get there. So if a person had 3 weeks of vacation or 2 weeks and they buy an extra one, they still off 3 weeks. So what do you mean they not taking a punk ass to work? It's still
no.
the
Listen,
same.
if that's what your company policy is saying, I'm saying that that's cool if you want to do that. I'm saying that for me, I'm not leaving no money on the table. I'm going to work for every day that they paying me. I'm not taking off no days and leaving no money on the table.
How you leaving money on the table? In my scenario, am I leaving money on the table? Let's bring.
Okay, what's your scenario again?
Scenario is I buy at the beginning of the year 40 hours of vacation.
Okay.
But I'm buying at whatever rate, whatever my rate is I'm getting.
Okay.
Usually mid-year, we get a performance-based increase. 5%, 10%.
Usually that's around somewhere like March, April, something like that.
June is ours.
Yeah. Okay.
Fortunately, last year, I got a promotion.
Nice.
About 30K increase.
Dope.
So the money that I spent on my vacation, that 40 hours, if I was getting paid at $10 an hour and I got a $3 increase at the end of the year, the time that I did not use, now I got my bonus at 13. They're paying me out at the end of the year, $13 an hour.
Okay.
For that.
So what are you saying? I don't understand. How do you get your vacation back? How do you get it back?
If you don't use it at the end of the year, I think the cutoff day is like December 16th because they don't want it to go into the next fiscal year. They just cut you a check.
Okay. So what's the difference from a financial perspective in that? So you get an extra $120, $3 times 40, 120 minus taxes. So you get an extra $80.
I got an extra $80. I mean, I got more than that, but in this scenario, I'll get an extra $80. But I also had the insurance that if I needed that time off, it was there.
That's when you lose, is when you have to use it. Okay. Because like you said, in your scenario, you get more than enough PTO to where you don't necessarily ever have to use it.
In my scenario, that is correct.
So you get an extra $80.
It's more than $80, but
in the scenario that you pose from the 10 to the 13. Why you keep changing the variables?
No, because I don't make $10 an hour. It's hard for me to
It's
That don't matter.
the number that you get. I know that you don't make $10 an hour, but you use that variable, and so that's what we sticking it with, right?
Correct.
Okay, in
So,
that
yeah,
instance, it works for you then.
The person made an extra money without doing any extra work, and they had a security feature to say that if I need to take off or something drastic happens,
I don't believe in security features,
not
but
in a finance,
that works
so I
for you
wasn't in
because they pay
a
you back for it.
Correct.
Most people don't get a 30. Most people don't get a 30% raise though.
That is correct. I will say that, but I still think it's an insurance process. When I say insurance, I think it's just a backup because I've seen people that extinguish their time off for whatever related reason, and then they're up against a wall where they have to make a choice between whether my kid goes to the hospital or I take them there, or I lose
You know what?
my
If you in a space, if you in a position to where you always up against the wall, and I'm gonna be honest with you, most of those type of people are the same people every single time.
And I didn't want to go off the rail.
Most of those people are the same people every single time. The ones that's always on the edge of getting fired because they used up all of their time, it's the same thing every single year. That is a pattern. I don't want those people as a part of my organization.
Anton, I didn't want to go off the rail, but I'm going to ask you this. But this is not being malice. And I'm gonna use this word, but don't take it. Why? How did you
say anything you want to say?
How did you become so arrogant?
Who,
and I say that, yes, and I say that to say this because I've seen it. I started off. I mean, we were poor, welfare, and now I'm way over $100,000. I'm close to $2.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my wife say, "Man, you changed. You're not humble like you used to be. You had this arrogance."
That's what your wife said to you?
Oh yeah, you met my wife. Remember, we was
I didn't know she said that to you though.
Yeah, she told me that because she's a very humble person, and she can see the small.
She's supposed to be. It's a difference between women and men.
That is correct.
I'm not supposed to operate like a woman.
But the thing is, you came from the same backgrounds, maybe even more privileged than I came from. You came from that humble background where you had to scrap and do that. Why can't you empathize or see the people who came from that same position? And because you weren't always where you're at. In 2008, you didn't have anything. So
I went broke.
I know. So when you say, I can't believe how somebody lost or did this, you did that. You lost. So how can't you empathize with the people who have done that, who are in 2023 at the same place you were in 2008?
Because number one, when I went broke, I didn't need empathy. I needed somebody to tell me the truth about who I was. I needed somebody to say, Anton, no, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. That's what my brother did for me. I don't know if you've ever heard me and my brother had that phone call. Have you ever heard me and my brother talk about that?
Yes, I have. Okay.
And my brother, he came to me. Matter of fact, here, I'm gonna let him share it. And the reason why I don't do it is because this is the thing that got me out of that space. Right? And it's not empathy. I think that the real level of empathy comes when you tell somebody the truth. You don't tell them what they want to hear. That's not empathy. That's enabling. I'll give you an example.
But you, Anton, you had the resources.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon.
What's up, Greg D? My brother, I'm on a live stream. I got a question for you. You with me?
Go ahead. Yeah.
When I was when I moved into my mom's basement, and you know what I'm saying, you was still in high school, or you was out of high school, or you was getting out of high school, and you know what I'm saying, I was broke and I was trying to figure it out, and we had that discussion where you read me for filth. Would you say that I needed empathy or I needed the truth at that time?
No, you needed the truth.
Why?
There's plenty of people who had already been giving you empathy, which is, well, not even just you, just people in general, everybody, especially men, all gotta have somebody keep babying them, and you need to grow the F up, and you need to get yourself together, because ain't nobody coming to save you. And if somebody does come to save you, you didn't learn the lesson, so you'll be right back in that same position again soon.
And how many people do we know that got empathy, but then they just wasn't able to continue to be exactly who they are? And what did they turn out like today?
It's still trash, still losers, still the sorry people.
Thank you, my friend.
We don't know that many. It's only a couple, but yeah.
I appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, bye.
So Anton.
So this is what I stand on. Let me tell you what I stand on. Let me tell you what I stand on.
But can I say this, and then you can say that, and you can feed into this? Why can't you give both? Because in 2008, if someone didn't have empathy for you, if your parents didn't have empathy for you and said, no, you're a grown man, you got a kid and a wife, you need to do this on your own. What are you coming back to our basement for? They showed you empathy by saying, come back here. Let's get your life together. Let me help you. Now, you still have to do the correct things to get your life together, but they understood a situation that you were in. They empathized and let you back. You can do both, Anton. It's not a choice of one or the other.
See, the context to that is, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I don't always mention it because I want people to actually get the core root of the story and not the other side of it. I wasn't the same type of broke as what everybody else is broke, right? So one of the things that I've always told people, and I've actually told the story before, is that when I first started getting into the plant, one of the things that saved me was the idea that my OGs in there told me, Anton, you save 25% of everything you make regardless. 25% of whatever you gross. So I still had that money, but I was unwilling to use that money in order to keep me afloat the same way that everybody else was drawing off of their 401k and cashing it out or taking their savings. So instead of that, my broke was different than everybody's broke because my broke was that I didn't have income coming in. It didn't mean that I didn't have money available or I didn't have resources to tap in. So when I moved back into my parents' basement, it was a proposition that I pay certain bills or I cover a piece of the mortgage or take care of the property taxes. So it wasn't just free, right? This was based off of the idea that I still had to carry some additional weight. And so that's why I hurry up and went and got 2 jobs. That's why I went and did the sales job. That's why I went back to school at the same time. And I could not work. See, I was still getting money and I was still doing things, but I just gave my cars back and I let them get repossessed because I knew where my priorities were. So that was a proposition that my parents took me up on. But that wasn't because, you know what I'm saying, they just had a level of empathy. They probably did have a level of empathy. But the reality was that they still didn't baby me, right? And I don't even believe that people, and I even moved out at that time to move back in against my parents' will. They never thought that I was ready to move out in the first place, regardless of how much money that I was making in the beginning. I still had a lot of lessons. So they just welcomed me back, but they still gave me a level of responsibility that came along with it. But my point is this, regardless of what you think it is, when you then baby people, when you tell them what they want to hear instead of what they need, you're enabling them. You're not helping them, especially men. Men need to suffer. They need to fail. They need to go into that dark space. And it doesn't mean that they can't have somewhat of a soft landing, but they going to have to pull themselves up. Because what happens, the question that my father always asked me is, what happens if I'm no longer here? Are you just going to wither away and die? And then he wound up dying in 2017 through a car accident. Well, not a car accident, but a work accident. And when he was gone, we realized that we had all the tools that we needed in order to be successful because he forced us to become men instead of allowing us to be his baby. And so I don't really care about how people feel, right? I'm not trying to make you feel better. I will tell somebody, listen, it's Friday. We just going to get to it. I will tell somebody F they feelings without even thinking twice about it. And you can hate me, but did you get the tools that you need? And did you get the reality that you needed in order to be successful? That's all I care about. Only thing I care about is the results. My crown comes later. I'm not looking to make people feel good. I'm only looking to give them what they need in order to be successful.
But it's not saying that, Anton. What I'm saying is,
what do I need to give empathy for?
Somebody gave you empathy. Somebody cared enough for you because your father and them could have said, you know what? You got some money saved. You get that money you saved up, that 25%.
I had to use it. I was paying bills.
I know, but
I didn't want to use it to pay car notes and stuff like that no more.
Go get this. Somebody empathize with you. So I'm saying you've reached a level here. Why can't you reflect and see that people are not at that level? They're at another level and say, I understand where you're at. I
You don't
was
think
there.
that me funding people's businesses and giving my own money in order to make sure that they become successful is a level of empathy? You don't think that me paying for people's funerals is empathy? You don't think that me
No.
paying for people's rent is empathy that is about to get
No.
kicked out of their house? You don't think that that's empathy?
No, because I'm gonna say this, and I go back to what my wife say. I say I pay all the bills. I pay all
No.
this. I do this.
I'm
Hold
talking
up.
about
And you know
people
what
that
she
I
said?
don't know. I'm talking about people I don't know. People call me and come to me all the time. Listen, I will call Rita right now. I literally have a monthly budget allocated over $15,000 a month for when people call me and they need me that I don't even know, that I then distribute over to them. It's people that call me every day saying, Anton, I'm living in my car, or Anton, I'm doing this, or Anton, I'm doing that. And I have to go to God and I have to pray, God, hopefully this is one of the people that's not finessing me, because I want to give this person some money and I'm not gonna ask them what they did for this. Whatever they did with it, it's on them.
So
When
you're
I
showing
when I
empathy.
when I park,
You're
no.
showing
This is
empathy.
the honest to God truth. When I
But I'm
park,
saying you're showing
I
empathy.
park at least 1.5 miles from where it is that my office is, because I know that it's a certain path that I have to take in order to give people money every single day, in order to make sure that they're taken care of. When I did a video online and I did $1 for a hug, people hated me for it and they said you need to be silent about it. I literally allocate, I will call Rita right now and she will tell you I have a $15,000 a month budget to make sure that I take care of people when they call me for stuff. That's not empathy. But they told me to be quiet about the stuff that I do. No, hold on. They told me to be quiet about the stuff that I do for people.
It is empathy. I'm agreeing with you. But you just said in a few sentences over that you don't have empathy.
But that's
That you
no.
gotta do
I said people don't need empathy. That's from my own
why
heart.
you giving empathy? Then
That's
why
from
you
my
pay for
own heart,
somebody's
because I got a love for certain people,
Because
and I
you're
got a
showing
love.
empathy.
No, because
Then
I got a
you
love for my people. Listen. I understand. The Bible say that the poor is always gonna be amongst us. The poor is always gonna be amongst us. That's what the Bible says. So there's some people that's just gonna be pieces of shit.
That is correct.
So those are the people that I try to look out for. But I'm not giving them no advice, because I know that that's just the state that they're going to perpetually be in. That's just me being a nice person. But there's other people that have the capability to be able to pull themselves up, and I'm not going to give you nothing. I'm going to give you what you need in order to be successful.
So what is it that you're showing to someone who has a business? Why not say to that person who has a business, I got mine. I got mine by the bootstrap. Why don't you
That's
get
what I
yours by
say.
the bootstrap?
What do you mean?
Then
That's
why
what I
give
say.
money
That's
out
what I
to-
do.
Why give this money out to people who are trying to establish their business or have a great idea? Why do that?
Hold on. Give me a second. Because I know
You're
that
not
some
pulling
people just need a boost. Because I'll show you the budget. And let's be clear. There's people in this live stream right now that literally can say that Anton paid for my funeral. Anton paid for not my funeral, but my father's funeral. Anton made sure that and I don't want people to, you know what I'm saying? If it's something that's personal to you, then you ain't got to tell your personal business. It's people in this live stream right now that could tell you Anton paid for my father's funeral. I had rent that was due. Anton looked out for me. Anton sent me a wire. He required nothing as a result of it. People will tell you. And you know, let me tell you why. Let me tell you another reason why. Why I allocate $15,000 a month in order to do this. Because for me, that is my tithes and offering.
Anton, I'm agreeing.
No. I believe that you're supposed to pay at least 10% of whatever you pay yourself.
Anton, hold
over in tithes and offering. That's the word of God. And so
Anton,
instead of allocating it over into a building, I give it back to the people. And so I figure out how it is that I can give it to the people in order to add value by their life. That's a fact.
Okay. Anton, when I first started this conversation, I said...
That's not empathy, though. That's not always empathy.
It is. I said...
Not for a person that already knows what they're supposed to do. Not for a person that already have the capability. They don't need no empathy. They need the truth.
It's still the same. Okay, let's go with the
How
truth.
is it the same? It's not the same.
Hold up. Because you paid for somebody's funeral. The truth was their father, whoever their mother, should have had funeral insurance. They should have saved money to the side because they knew their father was getting sick. That's not your problem to pay for that.
Hey, you busy?
Should have the hard lesson is
if you had to guess, how many people on a monthly basis hit me up for money, whether it be a funeral, somebody getting evicted, whether it be somebody saying that their mama lost their home. If you had to guess, because you see the emails, you see the phone calls, how many people hit me up a month?
I would say, I don't know, maybe like 10 people a day, maybe.
And I can't help everybody. I can't help everybody, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't help everybody, bro. No. Let me tell you something, bro. I get emails all day long from people asking for money. Some of them probably finesse me, and some of them probably didn't. Some of them probably actually need it. I have no doubt in my mind that there's people that probably finesse me.
I agree.
Flat out.
My thing is, I stated in the beginning, why aren't you more empathetic? Because you were in a situation, you grew up in a certain, you weren't privileged.
There's people in the chat right now that will tell you. They will tell you flat out.
No, you were actually agreeing with me because my statement
I don't think that's empathy for people that actually can do better and they not doing better and you give them some money. That's not empathy.
What is it?
You don't give them some money. If they can do better, you hold them accountable.
Usually, why do you give them money?
Here's the real question. Here's the real question. Why do y'all need my empathy? Why do people want me to be humble? Why do they want me to why are people looking for me to make them feel better about themselves?
It's not making them feel better. It's someone who has become privileged, who has done it, and you just can't. You have become so far detached. Not you. I'm just saying in general. Have become so far detached from the circumstances you were in that you can't remember what
I'm
it was
detached.
like.
I'm in the streets every day.
I'm not saying, Anton, I didn't say you. I'm saying in general. Sometimes we can become so arrogant and so out of touch that we forget that one time we were there. So I'm saying the reason you probably give money out is because you can sympathize or empathize with those people's situations.
That's not why I give money out. Because I wasn't there. I wasn't there in a lot of their situations. I ain't never been evicted. I ain't never been evicted. I ain't never needed nobody to pay for somebody's funeral in my family.
I understand. It doesn't matter for each situation. You're not homeless, but you still give money to the homeless because you can say, man, I empathize with that person not having something to eat. And I want to make sure that if I can give them something to get
listen. I'm not about to humble myself for people. That just is what it is. I don't care how people feel about me. That is them emasculating you. Any man that's watching this right now that somebody told you to be more humble because they don't feel a certain type of way about you or they feel a certain type of way about themselves. And I've changed my stance on how it is that I communicate on this platform. Let me just say this. Fuck them. Flat out. Don't let nobody tell you that you need to start talking lower, that you need to lower your voice, you need to be quiet, you need to be more humble. No, you need, especially if you're doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing and you taking care of business and you on top of things, don't let them humble you. You the person that's supposed to be loud because they're not going to humble the dude and they're not going to humble the people that's saying the worst thing for us. They're going to put them on a pedestal and they're going to give them a bigger platform. They're going to give them a microphone and they're going to say, hey, talk your shit. People that's saying the worst things for us, listen, I show my stuff to show you that it's possible. I live my life like an open book to show you that it's possible. I'm never going to humble myself or lower what it is that I stand for or be quiet about what it is that I do for people or start to operate in any way, shape, or form outside of what it is that I stand for because I'm loud. And I'm going to be loud about what success looks like when you do it the right way because all of the ones that's loud is showing you how to do it the wrong way. I'm never, ever, ever going to humble myself for people. People can't humble me at all. I'm humble when I come before God. That's it. I'm a king amongst people. I don't humble myself for nobody else. If I decide to look out for you, then I decide to look out for you because I'm a nice guy. But I'm never going to be humble for you because I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And the results show it. And if it's somebody that's better than me, then I need to learn how it is that they got there. And it's not for them to humble themselves for me. It's for me to try to seek the information from them, because they're the ones that have the gates. They the gatekeepers. They got the information. I'm humbling myself to them because they shown themselves worthy of praise. I'm not going to humble myself for people. We men, we kings, we stand on it. We prove it. We are reflections of what it is that we stand for. And anybody that keep trying to humble us, that's why we keep being weak. That's why these people are so easy to take over us. That's why women keep telling us that we their partners instead of us being men and their husbands. Stop humbling yourself for these people. Fuck them. If they not rolling with you, then roll over them. Stop humbling yourself, man. I don't think that people that's doing it the right way and taking care of business should be humble. Why should we? For who? Why should we be humble? Why do I have to be humble for people to feel good about me? I don't give a fuck about what people think. I got my tribe. I'm not humbling myself for nobody at all. And if anybody has ever met me in person, you know who I am. You know I'm loud. And I'm going to be that same way. I'm the person that's going to stand on the bar and shut that shit down. So, the people that ain't rocking with it, that just means that I was able to filter through the people that's supposed to be with me. I'm not humbling myself for no man. No man. Fuck them. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And if you better than me, then prove it. I stand up against you any day of the week. Any day of the week, in any way, shape, and form. I put my God against your God. I put my standards against your standards. I put my life against your life. I will stand up against you and destroy you in every way, shape, and form. It ain't a man on this earth that can stand in front of me and live to tell the tale. Not one. Not in real life. I don't believe in that shit, man. And I think that more men need to stand on their square. And we would align with each other more, and we would actually be more lockstep, and we would take care of business and take over shit and have our communities better and have our children better, and they would know what real men look like if we stop simping out for these people that think that they know what's best for us. We know what's best for us because we got ordained from God. God gave us our direction, not a fucking human being. I don't need no answers from another person to tell me how it is that I'm supposed to live. I got it straight from the word of God. I don't need these people.
Anton, we met in real life.
I know.
Ain't no part of me that's sympathetic, that is a simp, that is not like that. I am strong, an alpha male all the way.
What did you say when your wife told you to be more humble? When your girl told you to be more humble?
I said, I pay the bills. I said, when she said
exactly. Exactly. So why are you trying to convince me when you wasn't willing to listen to her and humble yourself to her? So why you want me to be? Why you want me to be what she asked you to be and you wasn't it?
Because I did take that advice when she said, "Hey," and I've done everything you said. Like, well, why are you working so much? Why are you doing this? I said, because you're eating off the privilege that I work. But I understood by her saying that to me that she's saying, "Hey, I love you, and I would like to spend some more time with you." Now, I can be an arrogant asshole just like you and say, you know what? I got to work. I got to do this. I don't have no time.
We different, but we different. Because I don't say that.
But I'm just saying.
I don't say I'm about to make more time for you.
I have to say, you know what? You're right. I need to give you some more quality time.
I don't say that, though. Rita will tell you. I don't say that. I say, listen, if you want to spend more time with me, then you're going to have to get on my schedule. That's why she traveled with me. That's why she worked with me. See, she adjusted to my schedule, not the other way around. That's why she worked for me, because she wanted to spend more time with me. See, I'm different. I don't move. Listen, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to make an informed decision. But it's nothing and nobody, including a woman, including the woman that I lay next to, that's going to knock me off of what it is that I think that I need to do.
It's
not one person. I'm not moving, bro. I'm not doing nothing that is knocking me off of the path that I said that I was going to set for myself. And if she want to roll with me, then she going to have to get on my time. I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not doing it.
So when your daughter says, "Dad, I need you to go to this Kung Fu thing with me," and you're like, "Well, I got to do something," you say, "Hey, I'm on my purpose." I said
your mother is going to be there. If it don't fit in my schedule, your mother will be there. And she get it because she know what a real man is supposed to look like. She know that men take care of business because that's the thing she's seen her father do for her whole life. I don't have time to go there at this time, baby. If it fit, I'll be there. If not, then I got to take care of business. And you understand that the reason that you're able to live the life that you live is because daddy is making a sacrifice for you. She knows that she's the inheritance and she's the beneficiary of the things that I'm building.
I agree with that.
I'm not moving. Listen, men in the yesteryear used to have to travel almost the entire year and they wasn't there. That's the reason why you had a woman in the household, because she's to help me. I'm not there to make you feel better. I'm there to take care of business. I'm not here for that, bro. I'm not here for that. You can listen, I get it. You're communicating that way to me because she's a woman. But I also have to correct her and give her some insight as to what a man really looks like and reset her expectations. And if she wants some level of availability with me, then I will move your schedule around in order for you to be around me when I'm taking care of business. But I'm never going to move based off of the whims and the woes of a woman. Ever.
I'm going to switch topics because I was only trying to be on here for about a few minutes just to talk about this. But I'm glad we got in this conversation. I do have one question for you, though. Recently, I know I called in before. We were talking about hypocrisy and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you would not put down anyone that you have met in person. What if, and I think there was a contradiction, and you don't have to address this because there's another question I want to address. But when it came to Umar Johnson had met with Suki Hana. Mm-hmm. After he met with her, he did some crazy things. And you said,
I said that I would never turn against and talk negatively about a person that has been in my household, that I've done business with, and that I have a personal relationship with. I can call them.
I agree. I'm not stating that.
Because it's a difference in the person that I just met in person.
I understand. But you don't know the relationship that Dr. Umar Johnson had with Suki.
He had never met her before. He said that he hadn't met her, and he was looking to meet her.
They had met thereafter. And after
no, but he hadn't met her at the time that he was simping for.
After he met her,
he had met her when he was simping. He had met her when he was saying that stuff.
I understand that, Anton.
So it don't apply.
That ain't what you said.
It is what I said.
Anton, after he met her, and after they conversed, she went and did some crazy stuff. After that took place, you said, why isn't Umar holding her accountable? Now, you don't know the relation. Maybe he did call her silently. But my other question.
So they met in person for 5-10 minutes. And then now all of a sudden. No. Listen. If I know you in person, right? And we friends, because again, when he was simping for her, the problem that people had with Umar Johnson was that he didn't know her in real life. And he was petitioning to meet her in real life. But at the same time, he didn't have the same level of accountability for her and other women that he had for men. And he keeps advocating for men to be single baby daddies, to go and take care of another woman that's been a part of the streets and marry him, while he not holding them accountable for their actions and behavior.
You taking something I'm saying and twisting it way over here.
No, I'm not, because your context doesn't line up with what my values are.
If you brought Dr. Umar Johnson onto your show, y'all had a conversation, he meets your family and all of that, would you still, thereafter, if he said something crazy, would you still do your Umar Johnson follow-ups?
Did we just meet for business and he met my family, or did we meet as friends and we got a relationship? Because it's a difference.
I don't understand. State that again. I'm sorry.
Did we meet in person and we are connected, like that's my guy, I'm conversating with him, we got a relationship, or did we just meet on some business type stuff?
Either one. When you met with Brittany,
the difference matters.
Brittany Renner, it wasn't on business. It was just, she met with you.
Did you see me going in on her? And how do you know what type of relationship?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking.
No. Before I met her, listen, she was, me and Brittany Renner, this is the honest to God truth, and I never even talked about this before. The minute that I picked her up, and she will tell you, she even said it on the very first, in the beginning of the live stream, and it's on the Patreon if anybody want to watch it. She said she was apprehensive about dealing with me and she was scared of me. And I said, why? And she said, because I have been seeing your stuff and you have been talking negatively about me the entire time. When we first met and we connected, we had like an hour-long conversation going back and forth about where it is that I stood and what I felt about her or whatever. She came in, I picked her up, she jumped in the car, we had an hour-long conversation, we kicked it. By the time she got out of the car, she was like, man, I love you, I'm feeling you, I'm rocking with you. That's a fact.
All right.
Since then, you don't know what type of relationship her and I have. But again,
All right.
before, and this is the same thing as far as Umar Johnson, before I even knew her, I had the same kind of level of accountability and smoke for her as I have for any other woman. Umar Johnson didn't have that for her.
I'm not saying that. I'm asking a simple question. If that same scenario, and I'm not an Umar Johnson fan, I don't, I think the things he says is half crazy. I'm just asking a scenario question. If that same scenario happened where it was Dr. Umar Johnson, you brought him on, y'all talked, y'all did that, would you still at a later date, do
Yeah, I can say what I want to about him. Because I don't know nothing about their personal relationship. In the same way that people hold me accountable and they talk shit about me if they say, "Oh, Anton, you don't want to say nothing about Brittany Renner." I'm cool with that. And that just that's what comes with the business. People say stuff about me when she do stuff. They say, "Oh, Anton, how come you're not reviewing this?" Because I got my reasons. And they can have their opinion about it as far as me as a content creator as to why I don't do that. They do it all the time. How is it any different?
So you're saying if it was Umar Johnson, you would still have smoke for him?
Absolutely.
That seems hypocritical.
How is it?
You just said you would not have when we
unless he says that me and her have a personal relationship and it's different, then absolutely I will, because I don't believe that they got no personal relationship like that. And I can have that belief because I'm a content creator and he put the information out there in order for them to be criticized because he said, "Hey, me and her are doing this," or "Hey, me and her are doing that." If he hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have anything to say about it. But he used it as content. He's profiting off of it. And so now I have the freedom to be able to criticize it or have a conversation about it. How is that hypocritical?
Because you said if you met with Brittany Renner, she met your family. You stated if someone meets my family and I have a relationship, I'm not going to go out and call them out. So I'm asking you the same
scenario. I said that I will call them in person. I don't need to call them in front of y'all. That's true.
Correct. You won't do it in public. So I just asked you the same question. If Dr. Umar Johnson came onto your show, same scenario, y'all talked in that, would you at a later time call him out? And you said yes.
If we had a personal relationship, if we have a personal relationship to where I can make a phone call with him and we cool with each other, then I wouldn't call him out. I thought you were saying would I call him out about the Sukihana situation?
No, I was saying that's why I said it was hypocritical. If you are saying that if you would meet with Umar, y'all develop a relationship, friendship, you can call him.
Which
because of
would
that,
probably never happen. I don't even know why you pose that as a hypothetical situation. That ain't even on my radar. I don't even associate myself with people like him.
I understand.
Would I do an interview with him? Absolutely, for the right price. Right, but as far as building a personal relationship, but okay, I get you. Go ahead. You want to use an extreme because you know I don't like that dude.
I'm fine with that. You stood on your square. So I don't have no smoke for you on that. Do have smoke on this. 4 times you told me to call in and write in to get my coaching call, and I ain't got that email today.
What do you mean? Rita just sent out 20 more. She literally over the last 2 weeks have sent out emails to people that is on the list. She got to go by the list. She got you.
All right,
she got you on there.
All right, get on that list. Umar, I won't hold you up.
I can't skip steps. I can't put you in front of everybody else just because we cool.
No, I don't want that empathy. I don't want that empathy from you.
Yeah, I got to be the same across the board.
I mean, it's been great.
Rita's right there in the chat. She watching now.
Please let her know. It's been a great conversation, man. I don't have too much smoke for you. I just want to have something.
No, I like it. I like the pushback. You ain't got nothing else for me?
No, brother. I'm gonna let somebody else talk. I enjoy it. It's a Friday.
After you, I'm done. But so if you got anything, you better give me everything you got.
I have nothing else, brother. I don't want to take up anybody else's time. It is a Friday.
I can't now. I got some smoke for you.
Okay, go ahead.
I gave you all the opportunity to get it all out. I can't believe that you simped out and you didn't stand on your square with your girl when she said that you need.
Man, I wish my wife was here because she would have an entire.
No, I'm asking you. I don't need her. You admitted. Right. You said that you listened to her and was like, "Oh man, I have to spend some more time with you, baby."
No, I do, because there's times that I do this, that I will come into my office here and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to work on some YouTube. I'm wasting time. And she's like, hey, I've been waiting on the couch for you, for 2 hours and you're doing something. what I may be doing is not detrimental or something that I can do at a later time. So I have to say, you know what I'm doing right now isn't as important as the relationship that I should be bearing with. So let me stop this because this isn't important, and let me go focus on my wife that is important. That's what I'm talking about. So when during the day I work, weekends I work, I do
You
that.
act like a
There's no,
newlywed.
well, she made me feel like that, man. You know,
I mean, that's cool. That's what most people do when they, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that.
So because there were times when I was getting started, when I'm in cloud engineering, when I was going up, that I paid no attention. And I was like, and I kept saying, when I get to a certain place, I'll back off. And that time never came. And she just checked me to say, I just want to spend some time with my
She
husband.
checked
What
you
you're doing.
and said, when
Yeah,
you got
she said, hey, you stated if you get to this point that, if you make this amount of money, then I will have some more time with you. And I said, you are correct, because what I'm doing now has nothing to do with work. It's more of a personal thing that I'm doing. Let me set a few hours of time
It's
aside.
all work. What you mean?
What's that?
It's all work. Work is just not based off of what it is that you did with your 40 hours. Work is all encompassing. It's what it is that you do with your time in general.
Okay. So in my opinion, it wasn't as important to me to edit this YouTube video where I can send it off somewhere, have somebody else do it, pay $50 for it. And then instead of me doing it, taking 4 or 5 hours, I'd rather spend that time, with my wife. I have no issue with that. I don't think that's simping out. I think that's just being a man, understanding that there are needs that your family that you have to do for your family, especially if you've met all of your requirements. I've done that. We do the vacations, we go places. So I've met all of that by paying the bills and taking care of it. But sometimes you have to say, you know what? I am being selfish, and there's nothing wrong with being selfish to get stronger. But I have to say, you know what? I'm doing so much that I'm forgetting the small things. That's how women, I hope my wife never does that, but that's how they start to cheat. They go other places because they don't see that value that you do. So sometimes you have to just say, you know what?
If you got to spend time with your chick in order for her not to cheat, then she was never yours in the first place.
I'm just giving that as a scenario.
I know I'm using the same scenario. It's not necessarily applying to you, but you framing it for like, because people will hear this and they think that that's meaningful, and that's not the message. If she cheats, not you, but in general, if your chick cheat for that reason, then she was never yours in the first place, fellas.
I agree.
So what do I give a fuck? Listen, I want you to show yourself so I can know who you are. I'm not.
So
man,
if you, what's that? You talking to me?
She need to be on her job, man. Listen, bro. My woman can't check me, bro.
Here's the thing. So if Rita says, Anton, I need to spend some time with you. So do you say, man, I'm going on this vacation. Do you still book her a trip to go with you?
If she said that I need to spend some time with me, she need to spend some time with me. Well, what's the scenario? What am I doing?
You're going out of town. She said, man, I'm going to be lonely this weekend. I'd like to spend some time with you. Would you include
can
her
find a babysitter and you can try to come with me. If it's inconvenient for you to come with me, then you just going to have to chill out until I get back. Hey.
It ain't that, but hold up.
Take care of business.
So at some point when she said that, would you say, you know what, I'm going to try to make it so you can come with me? You wouldn't do that? Oh, man. You a beast, bro.
Why would I do that?
Why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't, if you've already done something and your wife is saying, hey, can I go with you to spend some time?
What do you mean if I already done? I'm going out of town for business. I'm going to take care of business. This is my job. I'm going to take care of business. I wouldn't be able to bring you with me to the office if I was going into the office. You can't just wake up and say, oh man, I want to come into the office with you. You still would have to stay home and I would have to go and take care of business. So why don't I have that same mindset when I got to fly out of town to take care of business? Why would I make the adjustment in the same way from a business perspective, and that I wouldn't be able to do that if she came into my corporate office? What's the difference? No. What's the difference?
Example. I like to exercise, work out. So if that's an hour that I'm gone away or 2 hours that I'm gone away, and my wife said I want to spend time, why not say, you know what, why don't you come work out with me? We both get in shape. We can take this class together. That's what I'm referring to.
If it's convenient. But if it's not convenient, I'm not going to move what I'm supposed to do in order to make you feel good. Because your feelings is not more important than what it is that I got to take care of.
You're including them in what you're doing. It's not
No.
moving what you're doing.
No, because sometimes you might slow me down. And you not, listen. We got a daughter to take care of. You need to make sure that she get back and forth to school, to Taekwondo. You got to make sure that you cook. You got to take care of this business on this front. And so it's things that you're supposed to be doing also. I get it, but it's just going to be that much more. This is the conversation you have with her. Listen, I get it. I understand how you feel. I'm feeling you. Listen, don't even worry about it, baby. Listen, when I get back, though, it's going to be something special. And when you getting back and you on your way back and she pining for you at the door and she like a little puppy waiting for you, it's going to be that much euphoric for her. They don't need to be in your face all that time. Men work. Men go take care of business. They're not supposed to be sitting up under their chick waiting for making them feel better about themselves. Most of the time when women say something, they don't even know what's best for them. They just talking based off of how they feel. Not what's you as a man is supposed to know what's best for her, not necessarily give in to everything that she want. Kids want a lot of candy for dinner, but you got to give them some vegetables in order for them to grow strong.
You think my wife would say I give in to anything that
No, I ain't talking about your wife. I'm talking about in general. You have to know what's best and make a decision based off of that and what's convenient. It's not convenient for you to move like this right now. And until I get back, you gonna have to hold it down. And she gonna be loving you and she gonna be wishing for you and she gonna be calling you and texting you and all of that other type of stuff. I see you, baby. I got you. And then she gonna be wet for you when you get to the crib. And that's the way it go. But I'm not fumbling the bag. I'm not fumbling my opportunities for anything. The goal is to go. If your woman is sitting there trying to convince, man, listen.
No, I'm gonna ask you another question. Is there, and I don't know, this is just a random. Is there ever enough? Is enough enough? I don't know. I'm just asking. Because I always
enough for what?
All right, for example, I always said, man, when I was making 60,000, if I could just make 100,000,
it's not a number.
But is
there is no number.
Is there a time in your life where you say enough is enough, or I can enjoy it? This is a question I'm not being rhetorical.
I'll know it when I get there, but I don't have a number right now.
Okay. And so what happens when you get there?
Then I'll probably have another number, or I'll probably move the goalpost and I'll probably keep working.
Okay.
I'm a tool. I'm here to win. I'm here to continue to push it forward. And if my purpose evolves as I continue to grow, then I just go with my purpose. I don't know what that looks like yet.
When your father passed away, was it suddenly or over
it was suddenly.
Okay. If that was over a period of time, cancer, something like that, would you have put aside some of your work and things like that to spend extra time with your father?
No.
So you would have just kept working?
Yes.
Wouldn't spend those precious moments? Okay.
The precious moments is the moments that I built with him over my lifetime.
All right. So if Rita gets sick, she in the hospital, got ovarian cancer.
You got 1,000 different scenarios in order to try to. Listen.
How you say it is there's no time that I'm going to stop working because I'm on my purpose and I don't care about these people. And I'm trying to say, Anton, there are times that you say, I have money. I have enough. I've worked hard. Maybe my wife needs me at this time that she's going to this chemo.
Bro, you can't give 1,000 different scenarios looking for a different answer.
My purpose
is my purpose. It just is what it is. I am a machine. I don't feel the way that everybody else feels. I didn't cry at my father's funeral. Because I had spent the majority of my time with him building the restaurant. We talked on a regular basis. And so when it was his time, I took solace in the idea that he was in a better space. We the ones that's still on the earth suffering. He in heaven.
Correct.
I ain't tripping off of that shit.
That's because it was suddenly. I just want you've answered it. I'm just reiterating. You said if it was a longer term situation, that you would still stay on your purpose and not spend time with him during those last moments. Okay.
My brother was in the my brother would tell you. My brother was in when COVID hit, he was in the hospital on a respirator. I talked to him. I said, man the fuck up. Like, that's the bro, honest to God, on my father's grave. I will call him right now. My brother was in a hospital on a respirator, and I called him and I told him, I said, fam, you good? He said, man, I don't know, Anton. I'm trying to figure this shit out. It's not looking good. I said, man the fuck up, and bro, and get your ass together and get home, nigga. And until then, I got your family. And his family was living with me. They stayed in my house with me. And he pulled that shit out of him. And he man the fuck up, and he came up off of that respirator and he got home. I gave him what he needed in order to survive. I didn't give him what he needed in order to make him feel better. Man the fuck up, man. Get home. Nigga, I got your family until you get here. If you want to see him again, and pull that shit out of you, bro. I don't want to hear that. Don't sit there crying on the phone to me, nigga. Get your life together, bro. Ain't time. Don't go to God. Don't ask for forgiveness. Don't sit here asking questions, trying to make things right. It ain't your time, nigga. Get yourself together and get your ass up off that respirator. And don't go to fucking sleep until they pull you off of it. I wasn't sitting here, honestly, going back and forth, whatever Rita would tell you. I wasn't worried about that. I know who he is. I gave him what he needed in order to get off that shit. And I had his family, and I was going to be straight, and they was going to be straight until he got there. And he doing well. He doing incredible right now. That's
good. Always want to hear that.
So I'm not about to sit there. I'm not on no empathy shit, bro. I'm not about to sit in the hospital waiting for you. I'm not coming to visit you. I ain't not doing none of that shit. Get your ass up out of that hospital, bro. Let's come kick it.
So what other smoke you got, Anton? You know, it's Friday. We might as well
I just don't understand why you operating in your femininity, man. You better than that.
Oh, Anton, brother. Those is fighting words, man.
I think it's feminine energy to acquiesce over into what a woman wants you to do and move off of what it is that you already had planned.
It's how you make sure that your relationship is strong and loving. Has nothing to do with that. I've never lost $1 because of it. I've never lost a time.
You don't know that.
What dollar have I lost?
You don't know what you didn't know what you didn't gain, and that could absolutely be a loss.
By spending extra time trying to edit a video, when I found out that the money I make is better spent by letting somebody else do that.
How do you know that one video being deployed at that particular time would not have been a thing that really got you a bigger bag?
How do I know that one lottery I didn't play didn't win?
No, that we ain't talking about gambling. We talking about purpose. It's a difference.
How do I know that one lottery ticket?
Because that's not the same. That's not the same, bro. Every single thing that I've done that people told me to slow down on was the thing that I went harder with, which then propelled me to be even more successful. Because see, the thing about men that they don't know is that you don't know what you did lose because you're so busy basking in the thing that you think make you feel good at that particular time. Because see, you don't have a crystal ball, or you don't have the ability to see what the other alternative would have been, right? You was one video away, and I ain't talking about you. I'm just talking about people. One video away, one goal away, one mastermind session away, one flight away, one business meeting away. It's somebody you might have met. It's somebody you might have crossed paths with. It's somebody that was supposed to be in your. We don't know, and so I am not willing to leave anything on the table because I am going to leave everything. When I die, my goal is to die empty. I'm leaving it all on the floor. And so honestly, I think you're comfortable. I think you hit a threshold, you hit a number, and I think that you in a space to where you feeling comfortable. No. You hit a number. You hit a number. You hit a number of comfortability because you're doing well in life. And so now that's why you over here. That's why you acquiescing over, you spending more time, you making promises that you knew you shouldn't have kept. As far as when I hit this number, I'm gonna spend more time with you, baby, and all of this other type of stuff. You comfortable. And why you comfortable is somebody that's coming up behind you that's looking to take your spot. They looking to take your opportunity, they're looking to take your money. That's how I see it, bro.
You see how comfortable I am. Because I can go over finances. That's what I do.
That's still comfortable. It's not about whether or not you can beat anybody specifically. It's about whether or not you really maximizing your potential.
Anton, hold up. So stop, because you don't know me like that. So I'm gonna tell you, I use what we call our tuition reimbursement every year. I got 5 certifications in the class.
That don't mean nothing to
Scrum
me.
Master. Hold up. Every year that comes, I make sure that I do more so I can get it. I'm always meeting, mentoring so I can have a roadmap to always do better. So I've never settled.
That don't
I
mean
do
nothing.
that.
The way you
That don't-
maximize, it's not about whether or not you maximizing the tools. I look at my time and I look at my calendar, and every gap is meaningful. Every single hour of that day is meaningful and it's productive. Every hour of that day is meaningful and productive. I do not slow down. I do not miss. I do not live stream. I do not drop a video. I do not miss on any front whatsoever.
And what makes you think I miss?
Because you just admitted to it. You said that you giving up things that you had planned to do in order to spend time because she make you feel like a man.
Okay.
You said that she
Exactly.
make you feel good, and that's why you starting to spend more time. That's what
You're
you
trying to
said.
be funny now, brother. You're trying
That's
to
what
get
you
me.
said. That's what you said. You said that she make you feel good, so you put down the computer in order to go over there and make her and get your rocks off and spend a quality time.
So Anton, what I
That's what
found
you
is
said.
listen, what I found when I had a house, I had the car. I used to wake up. You from the Midwest? I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Ohio. So in the summer that grass grows no matter what. I used to wake up in the morning, cut the grass, wash the car, and I'd be waking up from 7 to 12. And I said, you know what? I make enough money that I can just pay somebody to do this, and I can pay somebody to wash the car. And instead of spending this time outside, which is meaningless, I can do something else or spend time with my family. To me, that would be more important than doing it. So when I talked about the videos, I found that I'm not an expert at editing a video. And so what would take me 8 hours, which is if I'm doing $100 an hour, that's $800 that I'm wasting, where I could just say to someone, I'm going to spend $50 of that
But
time.
where did you reallocate that time towards now that you created that freedom for yourself? That's the question. To your girl.
Okay, yeah. I may have
That's not
haven't
what I
a
do.
lot.
I created the space so that I can go and take care of more business.
The last thing, I'm going to tell you, both my parents passed away. And the last thing I've seen people pass, but the last thing I've ever heard somebody say when they're on their deathbed is, I wished I'd have worked that extra hour. I think they say, I wished I'd have spent more time with my family. I wished I'd spend more time loving more, giving more, things like that.
Those are
But
weak
maybe
people.
on your deathbed,
Because
you're like, look, I need to
I've
get that YouTube
I've
video
done
out.
volunteer
You may
work
say
in
that.
no. I've done volunteer work in hospice. I've said it on this show. I've been in hospice situations where I've had conversations with them, and that's not what some of the other people are saying. Some of the other people were saying, I wish I'd have left that shit on the flow. I wish I'd have took more risks. I wish I'd have spent more time grinding and hustling and accomplishing my dreams and living my life instead of letting my life waste away around people that's not adding value into my life. That ain't what some of the other people are saying. So maybe you talk to a different group of people. I talked to a whole nother group of people that was saying the complete opposite thing. And they said, go
So you
get that
think
shit.
if Jeff Bezos, hold up, I think the same person said it. What was it? Who was the iPhone? Why can't I think of his name now? He got the cancer. He died. He was the inventor of iPhone.
Steve Jobs.
Apple. Yeah, Steve Jobs. So do you think Steve Jobs said, man, I'd have just made another iPhone? Or
Hell
he would
yeah.
have reinvented? Okay. I don't think that's what he did say, though. But,
I don't know what he said. You said, do I think he says?
No, he didn't say that. He wished he would have spent more time with a daughter that he denied.
When did you heard him say that?
Yeah, I was in the room with him, Anton.
How do you know he said that?
It's reported. That's what his daughter said. That's what the people around him said.
Well, yeah, people make up stories all the time. I don't believe
Okay,
that
like
shit.
Anton, you can.
I don't believe it. I mean, he
Man,
might have said it. I just don't believe it.
You calling me feminine? You calling me a brother that's not on this
I
purpose?
said you
said,
operating in your femininity.
I don't know where in the point that you seen me that you thought that was the case. I guess if you would have stayed around for that show in Dallas, you would have seen how feminine I was. But I mean,
No, you my
everybody
guy.
has-
No. Listen. You know you my guy.
I know, but I know we joking, man. I'm not. Hey, this is Friday, man. I love you, Anton. So I know we can always have this smoke, have fun, make good content, so I'm not upset.
I just don't believe that. I believe that if Steve Jobs was still alive today, he would be pushing.
Probably. I would
Elon
say
Musk is
that,
doing it
but
right now. Elon Musk at points is the richest man on earth, and he has 3 jobs right now. 4, actually, if you count Neuralink. He
I'm not agreeing
sleeps.
with that.
He sleeps in the Twitter offices. He has 10 kids, multiple baby mamas, and he live, work, and play all in the same area to the where he don't even have a house. He live on his plane. And so I don't have to use Steve Jobs. I can use Elon Musk right now because Steve Jobs never accomplished the things that Elon Musk is accomplishing right now. And Elon Musk ain't slowing down. So if it's good enough for him and he's changing the world, he's changing the world, the way the world looks at technology. He's changing the way the world communicates. He's changing the way the world get around from a transportation perspective. He's engineering solutions every single day. He's putting satellites in the air. He's literally allowing for people to communicate in certain areas that otherwise wouldn't even have the ability to do so. If it's good enough for him, and I'm nowhere near where he is, then why is it not good enough for me? So see, you use Steve Jobs. I look at Elon Musk. So it's different for me.
Look, Steve, if it was good enough for Steve Jobs, then why he's trying to spend so much of his money trying to find a cure, trying to get more time?
Yeah, but if you read his autobiography, one of the reasons why his cancer advanced so far because he tried to use holistic approaches instead of going to get cancer treatment. He tried to vegan his way through it. You can read his autobiography. You can also watch the movies. The reason why he tried to spend time finding a solution is because he was already too far gone from making a wrong decision from the beginning, and that they told him that he had cancer and he needed to address it sooner. That's why he did it.
Anton, this is what I found. I can if I have friends, I can lose friends. If I have money, I can lose that and get more money. The one thing I can never get back that I don't care how rich I am, is I can't buy time. I can't get that time back that I've lost.
Yeah,
so there's a certain memory that I may have, like you said, I would have missed that money. I could have missed that meeting. Not that I have the children, but
it's not about the money. It's about your purpose. I never said money. Not one time in this conversation outside of giving to the people that I've gave to that I mentioned money. Your purpose is your purpose, and the money just comes with it.
So what happens when your daughter or someone's child says, "I just wish my dad would have went to this game. I wish he would have watched me with that." And you can
you should get out of your feelings. That game is not going to do nothing for you.
Anton,
get out of your feelings. I'm not coming to your game.
No, listen, Anton, the reason I'm saying this is because I'm you. And sometimes I'm trying to be reflective on me.
I don't care about the game, bro.
I miss those games. I go into work. I just came back from
that game is boring. Have you ever been to a game, one of these little kid games? That shit is boring as hell. That shit is miserable. I'm not going to no games.
Anton, you don't go to the game because it's boring. You go to the game because your child wants to look in the audience and say, "There go my daddy right there."
They privileged to even be there playing at that game in the first place. Man, I'm not sitting here about to play. Dog, why do y'all keep validating this coddled behavior? It's kids out here in the world that's fucking grinding every single day, and it ain't nobody to come to their games, and that's one of the things that's going to propel them to be better. I'm not here for your participation trophy.
And some of this, Anton, to be honest, is some self-therapy for me. Because I am where you at, being where you at, where it's just working. I'm hitting it. I just spent a week at the job every day. I don't think I came home about 4 hours a night. We're doing a hackathon, and I had to run it, and I'd get all the cloud stuff. So I understand that. Mm-hmm. I've been on that. When I was getting my master's degree, I slept in the office because I'm like, I can't come home. I gotta get this. Okay. We ordered pizza and got there. So I understand it. So some of this that I'm saying to you is not actually what I'm doing, but it's that self-reflection.
So why do you want me to be that if that's not who you are?
No, I'm saying I'm getting older in my life, and I'm starting to have the memories back and say, man, if I have children, am I going to be workaholic? Am I going to do this? Am I going to spend time? You know, those reflective things. At what point, and I say, at what point do I say I'm satisfied? And I may never reach that point because I keep going. So I'm asking
Listen,
in a
I
sense.
went over to Japan. And it was a great experience. Japan is literally 12 or 13 hours different than here on the East Coast.
Yes.
I never missed.
I've been to Japan. My company is Japan based. So
I never missed, whether it was from corporate America or whether it was these live streams or whether it was the developers that I had to deal with or the real estate and the building that had to go along. I never missed. Not one thing missed. You know what the biggest complaint from my wife and my daughter during that trip is?
What's that?
We got to wait on daddy before we go on to this thing because he got to take care of business. Or daddy is in there being loud because he live streaming and talking to the Patreon members because it's literally 12 o'clock at night over here, but it was 12 o'clock in the morning over here. My daughter said, Dad, you was being loud the other day on Monday because you was yelling. On Tuesday, I bought her some earphones. I gotta communicate the way that I'm gonna communicate, but I will get you some noise cancellings in order to ensure that you can get the best. Or because the other alternative was, okay, well, I'm a live stream from the studio and then I'm gonna just be sleeping downtown. She said, no. I said, all right, I got something for you. I got her some earphones.
Anton, I hope that your next show is a comedy show, brother. I know you want to do sports. There need to be a comedy
No,
show.
listen. I want to be the man that I would want my daughter to marry. I don't want no weak, coddled man coming behind me, man. We got enough of those, bro. We got enough of people that is in their feelings, feeling good about themselves, trying to figure out how they're going to change their life and crying on their mama's titties, bro. We don't need no more of them type of guys. We don't need not another dude that keep talking about how he going to be in therapy. We don't need not one more guy that's operating based off of his feelings instead of his purpose. Not one. We don't need an example of one. We don't need another guy that keep talking about I'm triggered. I can't stand when I see men say that I'm triggered. We don't need another feminine man talking about what women want them to do or what they mama said. I don't care nothing about that, bro. Honestly, not one more. I'm tired of it. Man up, get it together, and work. My uncle used to tell me, listen, even when we was in church and we was shouting, I can call him if you want me to. When we was in church and we was shouting and we would get tired of shouting because I was in one of them sanctified Pentecostal churches and you jump hard, like you praise God, you praise out your suit, you know what I'm saying? And he would say, you tired of shouting? And I would hear him and he would be talking to other people. He said, I don't care, shout till you die. He said, shout till you die. That was the slogan. I come from a army of big dogs, man. That's the slogan. The slogan in church for us was shout till you die, bro. I'll tell you. Because I know y'all don't be believing me. Y'all think I come from this other space. Shout. The pastor says shout till you die.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Pastor says shout till you die. Man up. Man up, bro.
I've done that, so I think, though, what has happened is I think sometimes we lose sight by doing it. I think I have. I mean, I've grinded. I'm older than you. I've grinded for a long time. And it's like, you know what, at some point I have not reflected on it. I think I've been in the moment or done the moment, but really haven't reflected on the success that I've actually done. I haven't, what do they call that? The fruits of my labor. I haven't enjoyed them.
I do, and I'm still going to keep going. I'll enjoy them while I'm on the journey. So,
Oh.
and shout out to Tanisha in the chat. What's her name? Hold on, let me see what her name is. You know, I love interacting with the chat. Tanisha Matthews. I don't like you either. I don't like you either. I don't like you either. I don't like your mom. All right, I'm gonna talk to you. All right, Fearless. Let me address this. Tanisha Matthews, let me tell you something. I don't like you either. I don't like your mama. I don't like your punk ass daddy. I think that this ain't the Wednesday show, is it? I got to be a little bit more politically correct on here because I'm trying to get 30 million. All right, y'all. I'm going to be a little different. I'm not going to read her for filth today, but I definitely don't like you. I wish I could say what I would say on the other channel on this channel. Tanisha Matthews, if anybody know you in real life, tell them that I said that you for the streets and we will make you such. Flat out. These people ain't gonna cam up. Stop it. These people ain't gonna cam up. I will read you for filth in real life. I will tell you exactly who you were. You wish your daddy was like me. Your daddy was a punk. Your daddy was a simp. And I don't like your daddy anyway. Tell him I said what up, though. He probably a crash out for you, even though you for the streets. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tanisha Matthews. Let me read some of the super chats. Hey, man, when y'all get these women on here and they telling you about how they feel, why y'all care about what they think? They nothing anyway. They nothing to you. We gonna say that for Wednesday. We're gonna say that for Wednesday. We're gonna do it a little bit. This is Tanisha. She got a picture. She got an avatar. That's Tanisha, y'all. An emoji. She's an emoji. She's an emoji. Donald Lewis says that was a bar before I bought a Tesla. I bought Tesla. That's a fact, though. Hey, you gotta love the people that subscribe. Oh, here we go. What's up, Chris?
Hello, Anton Daniels.
What's up, baby? How you feel?
Good. How you doing?
I'm on a live stream.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, what's up? What is it?
Oh, I wanted you to meet my boss. He came across your Instagram page and was like, "Do you know this guy? Like, I just found this guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's my cousin." So, I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, I if you know him, like, I'd like to meet him, or y'all could set something up. He's just a small Black-owned business owner for a roofing and construction company. Kind of just wanted to sit down and talk to you about some things. And
Yeah, I'll talk to him. My meeting.
Okay.
Tell him your big cuz got his back.
Okay. That's dope.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we was in church and we was shouting, and when we wanted to stop shouting, what they would say, what they would tell us?
Yeah, that wasn't allowed. It was shout until you die. So.
What did they say?
Shout until you die.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I would do. I would catch the spirit and I would find a corner to pass out in. And, wait until I was revived by His Holy Spirit.
Oh, all right, yeah. I'll call you as soon as I get off here.
Okay.
All right, bye. It is what it is. I told you, my life is real. It just is what it is. Shout out to Donald Lewis. I appreciate you. The glue guy says, "Is a Tide boss. Can I buy some free time?" Shout out to you. Yeah. Chris Simmons is in the building. Chris says, "This is my first ever super chat." First ever super chat says, "Can't wait to join the Bag Chasers in DC, which also will be my first meetup." Anton, I truly appreciate you and all that you do to make sure everyone get the information to level up. Thank you. You are very much welcome, my friend. I appreciate you. Let me read some more of these super chats. Says, I get 8 hours every 40 hours I work. Shout out to J-Rock24K. I appreciate you. Glue Guy says, I bet those immigrants not buying time off. They just working and they coming for your spot too. 187 says, why are you arguing about losing money? I don't know what they doing. OCL Sportsman says, I got $1 for the collection plate. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. JC says he mixed up tolerance with empathy. Exactly. Seek the Light is in the building, says the truth shall set you free, not empathy. Raymond Jordan says, both of my parents were deceased by the time I was 6 and I was emancipated by 16. The best lesson learned for me was knowing no one will save me. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Shout out to my dog, Raymond Jordan. I appreciate you, my friend. Empire is in the building, says, the people are the church, the temple, not the building made with human hands. That's what the Bible says, but the preacher pork chop skip over that. Shout out to you. Let me see what my girl talking about. Oh, snaps. Hold on. I gotta see this. Hold on. Let me get to these super chats. Let's see. Gangsta Love is in the building. Says, I don't want money, AD. I just want a coaching call. Can you bless me, please? I'm faithful to my wife. Yeah, I got y'all. We are working through everybody that's on the list for a coaching call, for real. 187 says, be very loud. I park my Rolexes because people always asking me if they fake. Now, F they feelings, I'm going to shine all in my glory. Shout out to my dog 187 in the building. Quick Octane says, Anton, you talking facts. 187 says, Conquest doesn't care about your feelings at all. And usually when people got conquered, they would take their women and children as concubines and as trophies. They would take their women and children as concubines and trophies for the men that were extra feminine, that felt like they had to spend more time with their chicks. They was exercising and they was putting themselves in a position to go and conquer them. Aaron Woe says, y'all really don't understand. Jesus was humbled only by the God the Father. The Pharisees hated him because he wouldn't humble himself to the people. The Pharisees and the Sadducees. Junior VK says, and that's why AD a millionaire and you're not. I feel you. Solomon Cannon is in the building, says, just want to thank you and give you your flowers. Yeah, guys, we're going to do the work and we're going to level up. And then the women going to want to be with us and we ain't going to have no time for us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I'm heavy into breeding chickens. Got the bread on deck and all that. I'm just bad at business. Tap in. Let's get this chicken. Do you breed chickens for real? Wow. Okay. I'm going to have to read into that. Cassandra in the building says he himself is obsessed with Brittany Renner. Deschavali says, if y'all spend more time together, that affects the bag. Nope, keep working. My chick is with me to go get the bag, not waste the bag. Aaron Woe says, the way men are making other men notice how much we simp out by doing little things like getting up when my wife says get up. Man, I was taught wrong. I think a lot of people was taught wrong specifically. Cassandra comes back and says, it is selfish to require your man to stop his grind. Find you something to do to accommodate his time away. Women with no purpose are a bill. As a woman, you must understand your man's purpose. And this is what women want. Women truly want to really tap in and be around you when you are on your purpose. Any guy that ain't got enough, that got too much time on his hands, women don't even want that. JC says 50 took 9 and manned up and went and got that bag. 50 took 9 and manned up and went and got that bag. My dog Jay Ben is in the building, says there's no innovation and complacency. A minute wasted is an hour lost. Keep grinding. Hashtag no fumble on Friday. Love the Chasers. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Hey, Jeezy just dropped a new album today and I ain't even listened to it yet. My dog Tech Coach Ralph is in the building, says great show, great combo. Key takeaway is to man the F up. Jay Ben is in the building, says little tip for the live coaching call we enjoyed. No, we was just kicking it. I don't consider that no coaching call. Aaron Woe says if they don't line Time talk. If they don't like time talking, they gonna hate Christ. When he come back, pretty sure black women will still question the Lord, and simps will support them. Facts. Brock says, Pastor Love offering, I got you. Great Way is in the building, says, been working all morning and just got on here, but I'm sure you was cooking as usual, so here is my offering. Shout out to my people. Joshua Mean says, great episode. What's the selection criteria for coaching calls? Or is there even one? Again, thanks for all of the game and the Patreon. Yeah, you just send me an email at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And as soon as it opens up in the order that I receive it is the time that I then make it available for the people. ABJ's Wise, Strong, and Safe says, can't wait to see my fellow chasers in D.C. tomorrow. Can't wait to see my chasers. And then my girl Q says, DC meetup, here we come. We coming to DC, y'all, and Q is going to be there, and all of my people is going to be turning it up for the Patreon. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for sticking around with me for way longer than I usually stream, but I do this on a Friday in order to get it popping. I got a 2:30 p.m. Eastern meeting that I got to prepare for, and so that's going to be dope. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to kicking it with y'all in DC. Let's get it popping. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Can't wait to kick it with the Patreon members in DC. Link is in the description, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace. Shout out to Manny Man in the building with the 5 ball. Thank you for looking out for me, big dog. I appreciate you, big dog.